Well, it's AMX Global Season 3, Race Day 3. Welcome along, everybody. Hope you're all keeping well. Wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in, welcome along to what are going to be two fantastic races. We've got single-seaters in the form of the RayFF1600. We've also got AMX 10 a little bit later on tonight. We've also got some special guests joining us. But we're going to start things off here in Lakeville, Connecticut at the Lime Rock Park circuit, measuring just over 1.5 miles. We'll get into the car and the track specifics a little bit later on, but let's bring you up to speed with who's going to be on your screens at times during today's broadcast. It's Alex and Reed. Finally, buddy, we get to work together. I know it's silly o'clock in the morning over in Korea at the moment, but thanks for jumping in, buddy. Good to see you. How are things, man?
I mean, it's good to be here. It is about 2 a.m., but the truth is that any time is a good time for some sim racing. We had amazing races yesterday, so I think today's should be just as good. We also have the fabulous TCR car racing coming up later on after we get done with the Formula Fords. So it's just going to be a great night of racing, no matter what you're in for, a good time here at AMX.
Well, you know what, Reed? Considering the fact that you know a lot more about the specifics when it comes to the leagues and the prize pools and everything, I'm going to let you take the floor on that one, buddy, because there's been a lot of hard work. You know, we're race day 3. There's this plus these 2 races plus another 66 to go, 72 in total, 25,000 or just north of 25,000 US dollar prize pool. We've also got 2 fantastic championship prizes from our friends over in Australia at Next Level Racing. But take us through it, buddy.
Yeah, we actually have a lot going on, and it's not all here on your screen. If you want the full info dump, head over to our website at amxrace.com. Here's a quick breakdown of AMX Global League Season 3. First of all, you can see the dates right there. It's going to be about 3 months long with a total prize pool of almost, I think it's actually over $25,000. We do have the most races in the year of any competition out there with 72 total, like Alex just said earlier. So you got plenty of time to drop in, drop out, come when you can, and we'd love to have you out here. The race format is by far the most unique part of AMX Season 3, and I think the most exciting part is the changes we just made to the reverse grid section. First of all, you get 15-minute qualifier, then the top 15 will get reverse gridded. So if you're down below 15th, you stay at the bottom. So that's extra incentive for the racers at the bottom of the pack to try to climb up in the standings. And then we've got 2 heats with another reverse grid in between, and that is the way it looks for Season 3. Also, in Season 3, we would love to see you guys. So if you join AMX Zero races, it's free to enter, but we would like to see your camera. So please join our Zoom call. You get an extra $1 if you do. And in order to compete in the AMX 10 races, which are per competition, we do require you to join our driver cams. So you can find out more information about that in our announcements in the Discord channel. So head on over to our Discord, and that's where all the info, all the good stuff is going to happen. This is a look at our schedule, and we did have some changes to the schedule a little bit, but this is where it's at. This is where it's going to be the entire season. So this is what you should pay attention to. US, EDT, and we're here for AMX 0 and 10 at 12:50 p.m. and 2:20 p.m. a little bit later on. And if you are of the European persuasion, like Alex used to be, then you can check out.
I am at times.
Depending on where you are in the world,
yeah, exactly. I'll be there. I'll be in Europe next weekend. So
okay.
But yeah,
defecting. I see.
Well, I am a dual national. For those that don't really know, my surname says it all, Goldschmidt. I'm an 8th German by descent, and I actually have an English and a German passport. So, for those wondering, EU Central European summertime, or for those in the UK, British summertime, it's 5:50 p.m. UK, 6:50 EU CST, and then 8:20 p.m. for AMX 10. That's for CEST, and for British summertime at the moment, 7:20 p.m.
All right, thanks for the extra breakdown. Yeah, we would love to list, Tuvalu time also, but we can only have so much space on the screen. This is a look at our prize pool breakdown, and if you can't read all those tiny numbers, you want to pull out your grandma's reading glasses. It's a lot of money, but we've divided it into 3. We're going to give you prizes for qualifying, for Heat 1, and for Heat 2. And there's also a lot of incentives here when it comes to like the Triple Crown prize. If you want to think you can come back from the reverse grid and place first in all 3, then we've got some extra prizes. Find out all the information for our prizes and giveaways on our website, AMXrace.com. A total of $21 on the line if you can get first in all 3 sections. And you want to mention a prize from our great partners at Next Level Racing. The champion of AMX Zero will win a GT Light Pro from those guys way down under. Big fan of them, and glad we've been able to sponsor to bring their top level sim racing peripherals to our race. Some of the best cockpits out there, and excited to be partnered with them this season.
Yeah, very much the case. As there is the monthly promotion, folks. AMX 10 right up until the end of the calendar month of September. We'll be doing the first 10 entries absolutely free for AMX 10. And don't forget, head to amxrace.com because the race entries will be opening up on a rolling basis. First come, first served. If you miss out, you're going to have to do it all over again. You're going to have to pay those $10 for AMX 10. You don't make it into the top 10. The first 10 people. But let's get on with the track. Let's get on with the car. So, Lakeville, Connecticut, the scene of the Lime Rock Park circuit, 2.462 kilometers. It's just a shade over 1.5 miles. Opened back in the mid-1950s. And it was originally conceived by Jim Vale, who, along with John Fitch and Cornell Aeronautic Laboratory, built the track using state-of-the-art tech, road and highway safety principles. But then we get onto the car. We're back to single-seaters, folks. It's slicks, no wings. It's the Ray Formula Ford 1600. 1.6 engine, 115 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, stick shift, 500 kilograms. And what's more, there's a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to these ones. And I think, Reed, we're going to have a bit of a bumper grid. We've got north of 20-plus competitors, including the regular criminals that occupy the AMX Global servers. Fabio Zampolini, Diego Villarreal, Laui Santi, Gaston Kulharvi makes a return on Season 3, Kyle Gaspar. Jehan An from South Korea also jumps in. Good old Nico Godoy bringing us the flashing flashing hat that he was wearing, and then decided to wear a red flashing nose like Krusty the Clown in The Simpsons.
No, it's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Your cultural references in there.
Well, there you go, but we're still a few months away from Christmas, but we know what it's like in the US and the UK. In the supermarkets, guaranteed there is going to be bunting, there's going to be all the Christmas decorations, all the respective foods up for grabs. But we're now underway with the 15-minute time qualifying session here for AMX Zero Race 3, and it's going to set the reverse top 15. Again, we've listened to the community. Again, we've decided to make a change, and people were saying, we're not a fan of the full reverse grid. But where else on iRacing or on any sim racing league, folks, can you find where you're going to have reverse grids for both heats? Unheard of in sim racing. Well done, AMX Global, for getting there first and striking whilst the iron was hot.
You know, it's a really interesting format, Alex, and the change for today, once again, just want to reiterate in case you guys are surprised, is top 15 reverse grid. So we used to do a full reverse grid, but now we're saying, well, even if you're down at the bottom, you can't just sit there and then wait to get flipped to the front of the field. You've got to make it into that top 15, and I think that just is a little bit more motivation, because there's a lot of racing going on here, right? We've got 20-plus racers here. I think I saw 22 earlier, and you can join at any time during qualifiers. So in the next 15 minutes, you can head on over to amxrace.com. You're going to get an email with a code to the room, enter, race, you're good. But yeah, you do have to keep racing. So whether you're at the top of the times, leading the way, or if you're at the back, you still have that little extra incentive to get up to the 15th place so that you can get flipped up once the reverse grid happens. And as far as qualifiers go, we are really privileged to have a number of the top sim racers out there and a few everywhere in between just having fun along with us. But some of the names you mentioned earlier, Alex, guys like Fabio Zamperlini, Caio Gaspar, they are way up there at the top already, and we still have about 10 minutes left to go.
Yeah, in the bottom right-hand corner of your screens, purple indicates the fastest lap in the session. Also, those particular indicators relate to the sectors that you see. 4 sectors around here at Lime Rock Park. So, at the moment, Facundo Rago doing a personal best in sectors 2 and 3. Jackson Resenge, one of the Texaco Racing by TK Esports crew. TK, of course, if you don't know your IndyCar, that's Tony Kanaan. Or now, he's now committed full-time to the Stock Car Pro Series, the Brazilian version of touring cars over in South America, who will be heading to their 9th round. It's actually 2 weeks' time from today. They'll be competing in Buenos Aires. But yeah, we're on board now with Facundo Rago. There he is in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, running the older Sebastian Vettel tribute livery on the race helmet with the Cavallino Rampanti, the prancing horse from Ferrari, on the back of it, along with the German flag down the middle. He's currently running P12, but Gerardo Ramos is leading the way on a 56.340. 0.23 ahead of Caio Gaspar, Zamperlini third, Godoy. Well, we've got another Godoy. We've got Matthias Godoy, Fabrizio Belziti, Gael Valero, who I had an opportunity to chat with yesterday evening. Victor Miranda now goes P5. Still remember when he's been running around in that Brazilian liveried Audi RS3 TCR. And of course, folks, we have got TCRs up later on tonight. One of my favourite categories when it comes to tin top racing, as we ride on board with Matthias Godoy. Now drops to P5 as Pedro de Oliveira goes up to P2. 4 100ths behind, but Ramos, well, that's 4/10ths behind because Ramos has just gone quicker than anybody. First one to dip under the 56-second bracket, 55.971. Of course, dollars are awarded to the top 15. There is a minimum requirement. If you are a no-show, you're disqualified from the server, you DNF outside of, well, we say that the DNF standard is 80% of the winner's total race time. So if you're not within that 80, if you're over that 80%, you're fine. If you're not, you're under it, you get in the top 15. If, let's say, we've got 23 cars on the grid tonight for this opening race here on AMX Zero. If you're in that top 15 and we have 13 drivers making across the line and it's 15 laps and you've only done 10 laps, sorry, no bueno.
Yep, you do have to get up there, and currently that's what we're seeing. I think it's kind of funny that Pedro de Oliveira's name is just PD. If it was like, I wish it was like PB, like personal best, but yeah, the Oliveira part gets cut off. Either way, he's way up there in the standings. Zamperlini also making a big chunk of those Brazilian flags towards the top there. And now we are on board with the ever iconic Gael Valero and his color. Do you reckon that is teal? A nice matte blue. You see the same, he has this livery for every single car out there, and I love it because you can always know where he's at on the field. Currently only 11th fastest, so a very tough, when you see Gael Valero in the middle of the pack, that's how you know it's a tough race. This guy is so good. We're happy to have him back here competing in our third AMX Zero race of Season 3. Jackson Resenge, who we're now checking out, he is up there towards the top in 5th fastest, and you're going to be expecting times around 54, 55 seconds here, so all of our racers setting pretty comparable times, although there is a little bit of room for improvement. And I think the thing that I'm most, as I was about to talk about it, these cars are not the most sturdy. These are not NASCARs. We're not going to see bump drafting. At least not intentionally. It is. It's going to be a rough race here. I mean, this is qualifying, so we're all playing nicely with each other. Nobody wants the dirty air. You just want to get out there and get some good racing or good times put up. Man, once the race starts, Alex, I think we might see a little bit of backwards racing.
All I'm going to say is anyone might remember Season 2 when these cars were at Alton Park. I remember the madness there. I can't remember who I was on comms casting with at the time. It might have been Marco or Brad. I'm not 100% sure. Really good to see that Sandro Villaboas rocking the old, oh my goodness, that's the Alitalia livery that used to be on the old 1970s Lancia Stratos rally car that was actually developed as a rally car and ended up as a road car as well. So good to see that people are really bringing in the old school liveries. I still remember when Gaston Coulharvey brought on a BMW M4 GT3 last season, the Marlboro McLaren livery. Oh, dearie me. Fangirl Brad is in chat. Fangirl Brad is in chat. Watch out. Stand by your beds, folks. That is a good egg, is our Brad. And he'll be back with us a little bit later on in Season 3. We're coming up to the final third of time qualifying for Heat 1. And Gerardo Ramos still leading the way. Pedro de Oliveira has got to within 65 thousandths of a second.
Wow.
And that quickly jumps to just over a tenth. Valero is third, Miranda fourth, Belziti, Eliseu, a new name here on Season 3. Head of Resenge. Eliseu now goes P3. That is 3 tenths covering the top 3 at the moment. There's Victor Miranda, multi-time race winner here on AMX Global, currently sitting in P6 at the minute. As you can see, the indicated speed, that's 190 kilometers an hour. They've only got 4 speeds on these cars. That's over 125 in climbing. If he was hitting 210 kilometers an hour, that's 130 miles per hour for you folks out there. I should know that because 210 kilometers an hour is actually the top speed of my Volvo when it gets punished on the German autobahn from time to time. And that's going to be happening in a few weeks when I go back over to Belgium for about a 10-day stopover for a lot of work happening over there. But some of it's going to be sim racing related, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Victor Miranda is really trying to do what he can. He's trying to get through the cut through at the uphill at the moment, but some cars getting out of the way. But the entire field, well, look at Nico Godoy down in 22nd. 1.86 seconds, covering the top 22. Top 17 with Spetriniv, covered by exactly 1 second. That's how close it's been. I think it's the closest it's ever been here at AMX Global. Plus also the fact with these European time zones, Reed, it's really, really given the opportunity for more drivers to get on board.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually just talking to Gerardo Ramos earlier today. This guy's from Spain. He's not new to sim racing, but he's new to us, and glad to see him out here really putting up a frankly incredible time. He got the fastest lap so far and really challenging some of the biggest names we've got out here. Gael Valero, he did have I think the top 3, top 5, but now okay, there we go. All right, right as I was talking about, I was like, I know he's got a little bit extra in the tank. Puts up a 56 there, good enough for second fastest. And we gotta really heat things up for your final runs with only 3 minutes left in qualifiers. Time is now, and you're really seeing a lot of our racers take that opportunity. Should be seeing some extra times be set from racers towards the bottom of the field. You guys got guys like Diego Villarreal, always one of our top performers. And then Nico Godoy and Laui Santi really have yet to get out there and really show us what they've got too. So right as I say that, you're going to see them put up times. This is only the top 20. Keep in mind, only top 15 get reverse gridded. So there is a big cutoff.
I'm going to say one particular phrase in Spanish right about now. Madre de Dios. Gerardo Ramos has just put in a 55.727. He's nearly 3 tenths quicker of all people, Gael Valero. Now, if anyone might remember, I spoke to Gael in the first set of interviews we've actually conducted here on AMX Global for Season 3, and he said, there's a lot more of a challenge. I'm not going to be able to make all the races, but he said it's really good to have the red line guys, and he went, now I realise I've got a bit more stiff competition. When you look at, we've got the 3 boys from Redline joining us a little bit later on, folks, because we wanted to keep the surprise until last night, and now we can let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. But we're into the last 90 seconds. Ramos could be on a better lap. Rafael Blanco up to P10 on a 56.273. Top 10 covered by 5.5 tenths. You said about bump drafting with these cars. Well, they don't have the best aerodynamic property, let's be completely honest here, Reed. But there will be bump drafting. There will be interlocking of wheels completely here, folks. And at this particular circuit, It's fast, it's flowing. They're hitting top speeds of around 212 kilometers an hour. That's just north of 130 miles an hour, folks. And what's more, it's gotten even closer. Gaston Coulthard, okay, I would never think in my wildest dreams or an AMX Global. Gaston Coulthard, 15th, 6.5 tenths behind Gerardo Ramos.
That's surprising.
Oh.
I think this may be one of the this may be an example of some of the like specialists, right? We do a lot of cars and a lot of tracks, and obviously, your I rating is not universal. So some people are going to be way more skilled. If this guy just sits around and drives Formula V's all day, he's going to have a little bit of an advantage. And really rare to see, Alex, when you have guys drop into AMX and then put up incredible times like this.
Completely agree there, Reed. And it's all about times of show. Matthias Godoy going out of West Bend on turn 6 and was all 4 wheels off track. That's it for qualifying. So our pole sitter, who ends up 15th, is going to be Gerardo Ramos in the number 69, the Spanish driver. There's the session results, and our session winner, powered by BenQ, is Gerardo Ramos with a 55.727. We'll start from 15th. Miranda, Pedro de Oliveira, Gael Valero, Caio Gaspar, Mauricio Lozano, Jackson Desenje, Gaston Coulthard, Guilherme Eliseu, Matthias Godoy ran at the top 10, Rafael Blanco, Fabrizio Belzetti, Facundo Rago, Jehan An, and Fabio Zampolini. Well, Fabio gets reverse grid, top 15 pole position for race 3 on AMX 0 here in the Ray Formula 4 1600s at Lime Rock Park, Connecticut. And then we look at the rest. Felipe Spetriniv, Connor Healy, Sandro Boas rounding out the top 18. We've got 23 cars on the grid, so hopefully we can scan through the rest of the field. But we will be getting underway in just a couple of minutes with our opening heat out of 2. And of course, results from heat 1 decide the starting grid for heat 2. And we flip the script again, hit him with another reverse top 15. That's going to be rather crucial because you've got to be in it to win it. Race 1 is heat 1 of race 3 of AMX 0 is about to get underway. It is going to be a standing start. We're waiting for a few drivers to grid up. Diego Villarreal starts 19th ahead of Lucas Dornella, Laue Santi, Nico Godoy, and rounding out the 23-strong grid will be Peter McMullen. So Zampolini on pole, Jehan An will be alongside in the front row. Rago and Belzetti, Blanco and Godoy, Eliseu and Coulthard, Desenje, Lozano, Gaspar, Valero, Oliveira, Miranda, Ramos, Petriniv, Healy, Boas, Villarreal. We are just waiting for the 4 at the back of the field to grid up. Well, the revs are building, folks. So it looks like the bottom 4 haven't. And the green flag has been flown. Good start by Zampolini. A lot of wheel spin from Jehan An and a lot of wheel spin from the lot of the field as they head down into turn 1 here at Big Ben. So it's turns 1 and 2, 3 wide in the mid-pack. Belzetti has already gone off. Oh, dearie me. Connor Healy's gone off. Luca Dornella has gone off. And the carnage has already started. We're not even past the left-hander at turn 3 and into the S's for the right-hander at turn 4, which is now. Then we got None, which is the straight. Then you got the uphill. We've seen that being used in TCR here previously on Season 2. And it's about putting the feelers out because these 15 laps are going to go very quickly here, Reed.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a very fast race. I mean, the cars are not the fastest that you'll see, but it's just surprising how much action you get when you try to cram 23 cars into a tiny little circuit. It's going to be a lot of fun. Beyond that, you do have the reverse grid aspect. So you've got slower racers towards the front, and now it's all about can they stay there. Guys like Fabio Zampolini, this is a race winner. We've had him out here for a long time in AMX races, and he's a guy I expect to see up there. Honestly, Jehan An, this is going to be a tough race for him. He has yet to place in the top 5, and he's up there for now, and he's got a 1 second lead, so that's not bad. Rafael Blanco, Facundo Rago, they're going to have their work cut out for them. And it's all about the climb, right? You got to keep a look. Oh my God, in the midfield, and actually at the front of the pack. You're going to see a lot of times drop down there. Eliseu, he's going to drop back a little bit, and just absolute carnage in the midst of some incredible racing action.
Yeah, we got the number 6. That's called Harvey, who's just got past Eliseu for position. Well, Eliseu's back in front. So Zampolini has scarpered away like a scalded cat on a hot tin roof. He's 1.3 seconds ahead of Jehan An. As Jackson Asenche goes up the inside of Facundo Rago into the big bend at turns 1 and 2. So the Brazilian takes 3rd place. Three-way scrap just a little bit further behind. Golhavi, De Oliveira and Ramos battling over P6. Seen quite a few drivers in the pits. Valero, Miranda, Godoy, Nico Godoy, Caio Gaspar, Fabrizio Belziti, Mauricio Lozano. Lozano's back in the pit lane again. Oh, we thought there was going to be... Well, we saw the carnage of the Radicals yesterday at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. And here we are now in the Formula Ford 1600s. So we're now on to... well, we're trying to queue up a replay, folks. We just saw that in the back of the shot there as we got the nice little transition. But Jehan Hunt is closing in on Fabio Zampolini. The gap is now 9/10 of a second. What has happened to... Hang on a second. I'm just... The thing is, sometimes when we see the timing, Zampolini has dropped, apparently. Well, I don't think he has because he's still in front. So, issue with the timing at the moment, folks. That's why there's no timing tower on your screen. But Fabio Zampolini leading the way. And it is the Jackson Asenche train. He's got Eliseu going through the right-hander. Took 4th off of Facundo Rago like candy off of a baby. As we're 60% of the way through lap number 4 out of 15. Here on AMX 0 Race 3, heat number 1. And this is one of the things I love about the Formula Ford 1600 Reeds. It's very much like karting. You get multiple cars in a line. That's pack racing at its very finest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is one of the best parts about this new season. With more racers comes more little sort of bite-sized action, right? So there's a big pack towards the front, and honestly, this is what's super impressive. A lot of times you'll see, oh, this guy wins a lot of races. So you never really hear the stories of the people competing from behind. But when you get reverse grid in mind, you get to start from pole, you get to start from the front, and then it becomes less about your ability to climb there and more about how defensive are you? Can you hold your position? And I think you're actually seeing a lot of racers who might not get up that high, who are actually fabulous at defending. And you're seeing a lot of that holding their position down on. He's up there. He's staying pretty competitive. There's a 3-second gap between him and Jackson Asenche, so you really got to give a lot of credit where credit is due. The pack at the front is kind of thinning, but you also have a lot of midfield action down there with De Oliveira, Ramos, Rago. So much cool stuff happening here, and it's hard to focus on it all. So, of course, a big shout out to our producers who do our best to show you everything going on across a very wide racetrack.
Guilherme Eliseu was right up the rear exhaust pipe of Jackson Asenche coming across the start-finish line. Jehan An has been quicker over the last 3 laps in comparison with the fabulous Fabio Zampolini. And Matthias Godoy has put in the fastest tour of the race so far, 56.404 on lap 5. We're on to lap 6 out of 15. Running on board with Gerardo Ramos, who started 15th. Has clawed his way up to 8th. This is going to be very shortly 7th. He does get up the inside of Matthias Godoy. That was heading into, off of the back straight, heading into West Bend. Down the crest they come, into the downhill at turn 7 onto this very long start-finish straight. As Godoy sweeps to the right-hand side of Ramos, pulls alongside, nips ahead by a nose. Down the San Posey straight, and through, back goes Matthias Godoy on Ramos. Oh, who was that had a moment? That was Asenche. Asenche was P3. I'm not too sure if there might have been a little bit of contact between him and Guilherme Eliseu. They were battling tooth and nail over 3rd position. We'll put them 13th on the grid for heat number 2. Coming up after this one has been fast, it's been frantic. Asenche has set the fastest lap of the race, but he's all the way down at 9th. That's going to put him on a cumulative P6 for heat 2 if it stays like it is, but we're getting closer and closer to that halfway point of the race, Reed. There has been so much action that even you and I have been unable to keep up with it.
I mean, it's not just us who can't keep up with it. Truly, there have been some challenges. The reverse grid has claimed a lot of victims. Victor Miranda, Gael Valero, both out in last place after having spun out earlier. So, I mean, it was assisted spinning out, so it's not like it's their fault, but definitely don't expect to see them towards the back. Diego Villarreal also right back there, and bottom of the timing table is struggling, so probably best to keep an eye on guys like Galavi, who is holding it down there in the top 5, but he's not content. He's right behind Facundo Rago, so very, very close, competitive. And Rago, a lot of things happening in his rear view mirror, although I guess he doesn't have a traditional rear view. He's probably mostly focused on climbing up there, but he's got a lot of a ways to go, a couple seconds back of Eliseo. So, like you said earlier, Alex, there's only a few more laps now, just a handful, 7 more to go, and still incredible speeds. Very, very impressive racing by Zamperlini and On to really just lock down that top 2.
I also have to give a shout out to our fellow caster who celebrates his birthday today. Wei Han Chan celebrates his birthday. He's been touring Europe and has also caught up with our very own Marco Barbanera, who will be on casting duties again later on this season. As we ride on board with Rafael Blanco, who's got Lucas Dornella right behind him in the number 20. This is the battle for 9th position. Asenje is now ahead of them, and Asenje in the moment is actually closing in on Gerardo Ramos for 7th place. Kulhavi gets past on Facundo Rago in the number 5, and Rago was right up the back bump. Well, there's no back bumper on these cars, right up the rear suspension off of West Bend as they come through the downhill. That was close. Nearly left front to right rear wheel contact as Facundo Rago pulled out to the right hand side trying to get the side draft. There is some slipstream available on these cars, but as I said, aerodynamic properties on Formula Ford 1600s are not that plentiful. There's no front, there's no rear wing, there's no rear diffusers to speak of. I mean, especially when you look at the W13 F1 car that's currently on iRacing as well, which we have used previously here on AMX Global for Season 2. And Wei Han Chan, you're very, very welcome. Glad to see you caught up with our good Italian, well-versed friend, Mr. Marco Barbanera. They've been sending us pictures in the commentator channel here on Discord. But don't forget, if you want to join us here for the premier top-tier sim racing series, head on over to amxrace.com for further information. Find out how you can sign up, and it's open to everybody, every skill level. So we're going to get a replay very shortly, the BenQ replay of the first big incident here at Lime Rock Park for AMX 0 heat number 1. As there was a bit of there was a 3-way. Well, someone got turned around in all the melee as such. But we now go back to the racing. There is Fabio Zamperlini, who is leading. He's also coming up to back marker traffic. Now, who is that in front of him? That's the number 13, that's Nico Godoy. So everyone up to 17th position is currently a lap down off of the leader. I also have to give a shout out to BenQ. They provide a fantastic range of their Mobius EX monitors with HDMI 2.1 compatibility, HDRI up to a 144 Hertz refresh rate. So if you want to check them out, make sure you head to their respective websites.
Oh my God!
Now, around, there's been a big old prang. That is the Asenje. That car's terminally damaged. He literally got. He had nowhere to go. I think he got blindsided in peripheral vision. So Asenje drops out. They are falling by the wayside. Asenje in the pits. I'm not too sure who that was in the middle of the start-finish straight, but whoever that was got a touch, got a turnaround, and then all havoc broke loose. We've got this +3 to go, and I'm not too sure who that was. I mean, hopefully we might be able to get a look back at that, but Fabio Zamperlini has opened up the taps on the 327, the Duck Hawk Racing driver. He's now 4.6 seconds ahead of Jaehan An, who's looking for his best finish so far in only his third AMX 0 race here on season number 3. So you can see the top 15 all the way down to Gael Valero. That was Facundo Rago, completely sideways out of turn 2. Oh my goodness me, Facundo Rago. I don't know how he got away with that one. I think he needs to look at the top of his sim racing seat after that big old slide through turn 2. That was not cricket.
No, I hope he's not running one of those hydraulic setups, because that thing would have just tipped over. That is one hell of a race, or a crash to have during your race. Really sort of upsetting the field. You see, actually, with our new top 15 reverse grid, in fact, a lot of the drivers who do drop out due to races, they've got an extra little challenge. Okay, I can't just sit back at the back. I've got to climb back up to 15th place, and that's actually what happened. So you saw Gael Valero and Victor Miranda both climb up to 15th and then just sort of chill out there. They're going to get reverse gridded. But let's actually take a look at that really horrific accident. We can kind of laugh about it because it's sim racing now, but man, it would have been so devastating in real life. So let's check this out. I think he just gets turned sideways and then there's nothing that can happen. Oh no, he actually drives right into the side of him and those wheels get hooked so easily. Then he spins out, he's horizontal in the track, and that is not the direction you want to be.
Well, that was one of the Texaco TK racing cars, so which Jackson Desenje is not sporting that livery, but he was blindsided by another vehicle on the start-finish straight. But we are on the penultimate lap out of 15. White flag will be out next time. And we've got the battle between Rafael Blanco and Pedro de Oliveira. Number 19 plays the number 9. This is the battle for P6 out of the final corner. White flag is in the air, as Fabio Zampolini is 20% through the final lap out of 15 here on AMX 0 race 3 heat number 1. The Oliveira sweeps to the outside. Is he going to go high, wide and handsome through turn number 1? The answer is no, but he's going to keep it planted around the outside. Can he get the cut back into the left-hander coming up here at turn 3? Peter McMullen is the car on the right-hand side. He's off track at the moment. That might have been the car that Jackson essentially might have clattered into. Wasn't 100% sure on that one, but this is a great battle. Up the inside, De Oliveira goes nearly wheel to wheel with Rafael Blanco into the next right-hander. He gets the move done. That's through the cut through, off of the back straightaway, off of the uphill at turn 5. But Fabio Zampolini is about to come across the line. Let's catch up with our race leader, because Fabio Zampolini out of the final corner wins AMX 0 race 3 heat number 1. Well done to Jehan An for taking second. Gaston Colharvey takes third. Facundo Rago and Matthias Godoy at the line, separated by 44 thousandths. Pedro de Oliveira takes 6th ahead of Rafael Blanco. Lucas Donella takes 8th. Laui Santi 9th. Despite the earlier moment in the race, he managed to make a good comeback with the Brazilian in the 138. Connor Healy in the number 22 makes it 10th. Diego Vidal. Sandro Villas Boas, Felipe Petrinev, Gael Valero and Victor Miranda effectively are the top 15. Eliseo Ramos, Resenge, Gaspar, Nico Godoy. Well, Gaspar and Godoy is still running at the moment. You've got the likes of McMullen, Belziti, Lozano. Well, Belziti didn't make it to the checkered, but what a way to kick things off here. Fabio Zampolini taking the win. That puts him 15th. So he was 15th in qualifying, wins the race. There's the BenQ session winner, taking a quick bit of hydration, ready for Heat 2 coming up very shortly. But there is your results of AMX 0 race number 3, Heat 1 here on Sunday. Fabio Zampolini takes the win ahead of Jehan An by 1.2 seconds. Gaston Colharvey, Facundo Rago, Matthias Godoy, Pedro de Oliveira, Rafael Blanco, Lucas Donella, Laui Santi, Connor Healy rounds out the top 10. Diego Villarreal, Sandro Boas, Felipe Petrinev, Gael Valero and Victor Miranda complete the top 15. They make it into the, they've gone north of 80%. So, of the winner's time, so good. They get a little bit of coins in their pocket. Guilherme Eliseu, Gerardo Ramos and Jackson Resenge ran at the top 18. Finishing a lap down off of the leader. But, well, Reed, that's the first heat. We've got the next one coming up after a quick warm-up, haven't we?
That's absolutely right, Alex. Really cool to see some strong racing from some racers we don't get to highlight very much at the top. I mean, obviously, Zampolini's been up there quite a while. Whoa, doing a little bit of off-roading there. Not the natural habitat of Ray Formula Fords, but we are going to have a little bit of a break. That's right. So as I have just investigatively journalized, we will have about 5 minutes to let our racers really sort of take a break, warm up, get themselves ready, do a few donuts, all right? Get themselves ready for the next and final facet of this race. And that means that, maybe it's also a time to take a break. I don't know about you, but when you're sitting in basically every sim rig, you sort of nestle a little bit. You do some nesting. Yeah. And then after a while, you're like, oh, actually, my bones are trying to fall off. So let's stand up, take a break, and get ready for the final aspect of the race, our final heat. So it's qualifier heat 1, a little bit of a break for a warm-up, and then heat 2. And I really think this is such a cool way to do it, so that you get a sort of a big final feature race at the end, and we flip things back over again. So a lot of those top racers that had some real problems during the start of that heat can get a chance to get reverse gridded back up, and I think we'll see a new level of dominance, maybe even an even faster lap this time around.
We could very well do so. I mean, the good thing is, like you were saying, Reed, you get into your sim rig, you nestle, you feel like you're in your own personal cocoon. It's a bit like when you're on a long old road trip, isn't it? You sort of, you hunker down, you feel comfortable, then the minute you get out of said sim rig, the first thing that your back says, why have you done that to me? And then at least the good thing is, folks, is between AMX 0 Race 3 and AMX 10 Race 3 coming up a little bit later on today, there'll be a little bit of a chance for us here at AMX Global to get a little bit of a respite, chew the fat, have a little bit of a chin wag, catch up with each other.
What?
And then get ready, have a chat.
There we go. Now you're speaking my language.
Have a chat. Well, the thing is that that's a UK idiom there, chew the fat. So like or you could talk somebody's ear off. There's so many different Freudian slips I could come up with from the United Kingdom that I think everyone will probably get sick of hearing them by the end of this season. But I think it's more a case of everyone enjoys it. I think we've got the 3 back from Team Redline for AMX 10 later on tonight, so they're going to be joining us for the TCR extravaganza. And we know if anyone has been with us for Season 1 and Season 2 of AMX Global, you know who loves TCR the most out of anybody? It's going to be a certain charismatic Italian that we've got on our caster roster. Of course, Marco Barbanera, who I said will be joining us later on in the season. And also, he's the first of the AMX... I'm going to do a bit of a shameless plug here, Reed, because Marco Barbanera is one of my guests on a personal YouTube series that I do called Commentator's Corner, and he's going to be on episode 22, which will be next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central European Summertime, 6 p.m. UK time, and then also that'll probably be, round about... probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Daily Time. There's Jehan An in his... look, he's also representing a bit of next level, judging by the race seats he's got there. Good man, Good man. That's what we like to see. Big thank you to our Aussie friends over at Next Level Racing. Of course, the prize that they've got on offer is worth around $300 US. When we talk about what's coming for AMX 10 as the warm-up is completed, let's just say that sim rig is in the region of about 4 figures. Let's say around about $1,000 worth of sim rig right there, from something basic to those that want to have an entry level into sim racing to the absolute top tier, a bit like us being the premier top tier iRacing series here in the sim racing world. But it's heat 2 for AMX 0 Race 3. So let's see if we can have a look at the starting grid ahead of 15 laps of racing. It's going to be Victor Miranda that might be on pole position, but we'll wait for everyone to start gridding up, and there they are. It's going to be a standing start once again. We're going to have standing starts for TCR later on. And is that me, or is that could be someone rocking the old Stuart Ford livery back in the days when Rubens Barrichello was still running in the late 1990s in Formula 1 after his days in Jordan. Looks like Diego Villarreal is going to be the driver on reverse grid pole. We're still waiting for a few more drivers to grid up. Revs rise. Green flag is right there. a lot of wheel spin. So Miranda ahead of Valero, Spetliniv in P3. A lot of wheel spin from the majority of the field. These standing starts are difficult to nail. Oh, someone's gone off already. That's Facundo Rago heading into turn 1. He's actually gone on the grass before they've even made the apex. But Miranda leads, Valero, Spetliniv. Then we got Sandro Villas Boas, Diego Villarreal, Connor Healy, Laui Santi, Rafael Blanco, Pedro Di Oliveira, Lucas Dornella rounding out the top 10. Tiers Godoy, Gaston Colharvey, Fabio Zampolini already up 2 places to P13. And there is the number 9. Oh, Di Oliveira is like a driver possessed as, oh dearie me, Villarreal in the barriers off of the uphill on T5 and has returned to garage straight away.
Oh no, this is not going to go well. I can already tell there's a spin coming. My ESP, it's kicking in. A little bit of backwards racing there for a lot of our friends that I actually thought were heading up towards the front of the pack. Diego Villarreal, he's out earlier. Jayana on, race leader from last one, now down to the bottom. Diego Villarreal joining him there, and Jackson Resenje right along with him. Man, rough start to the race there, and you're not seeing a lot of climbing going on. So I really hope they can get back into it, but man, just absolute tragedy striking early on. You take a look up at the front of the field, there's a lot of clean air up there for Victor Miranda and Gael Valero. Even Spetronev, who did not have a good Heat 1, back here in Heat 2, he is getting it done, and man, it's just such an advantage to start outside of all of that chaos in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I noticed that Spetliniv, I think, was involved in one of those contretemps. I mean, Jehan uncollected. It was Jackson Resenje at that point, and he went flying. Big moment. Oh, we've had one up in the air and nearly rolled. Oh my God, it was battered up with the Radicals last night. And today here at Lime Rock Park, Formula Ford 1600 takes the biscuit, quite literally. Gaston Colharvey now in pit lane. Oh dearie me, our season 2 overall champion, not having a great opening start on the 3rd day. So 36 days, 72 races, folks. Do the math. Oh, more incidents happening, and that is Matthias Godoy. And there's 3 wheels on that wagon. The left rear flapping. It's disconnected from the rear drive shaft. Oh, and someone's taking the cut through at the uphill. Who on earth is that? There's that wheel's not connected. Did you see that? The right front wheel, and it's not connected. There's sparks flying from that. That is Fabrizio Belziti. that is not going to be steering true at all. He's coming out of the final corner. He's going to pull that thing into the pits, or he's going to try to turn right. He's wanting to steer left. Oh, dearie me, they are falling by the wayside. Look at the replay, picture in picture. Massive hit coming out of the final corner, and someone was up and nearly over. Unfortunately, with the Formula Ford 1600s, you don't have the halos on them, folks. They weren't built for them.
Yeah, no, I think the halo, probably unnecessary in a sim racer, but very necessary in real life. And of course, Formula Fords are from a different era where you really just sort of, put your heart and your life in your hands and try desperately to make it to the end of the race. And not so different here. Our racers are really sort of fighting for their lives here, trying to make it out of what was an absolute carnage of a midfield. Now we're on Caio Gaspar. He is in the danger zone, right? This is where the accidents happen. And so you really have to open your defensive driving manual, and you can see him very attentive there, looking to not only climb up, but a little bit of a contact there. Ooh, got to stay safe at the same time.
Yeah, there's Laui Santi. Had a bit of an off-track excursion. Oh no. Who is that?
Eliseo.
That is... No, that's Connor Healy. Connor Healy was the one that just went left.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, Connor Healy, the number 22. Same race number ran by Jenson Button in 2009 and Lewis Hamilton in 2007. Both drivers with those particular numbers in 2007, 2008, 2009. Hamilton won the F1 title in 08, Button in 2009. 2 different manufacturers, McLaren and Braun GP. And I'm not going to spoil the Japanese Grand Prix for those that haven't watched it yet. need to watch it. It's pretty good. I thoroughly enjoyed it when I watched it earlier on. Rafael Blanco has ended up at the pits as well. We're riding on board with Felipe Spetriniv. Caio Gaspar has been chomping at the bit. He's got the blade between his teeth. He's up 14 places from 19th on the grid to P5 and is 4.1 seconds behind the driver that we're riding on board on the roll hoop cam at the moment, Felipe Spetriniv, closing in on countryman Pedro de Oliveira. Caio Valero has put in the fastest lap of the race. 56.306 was 2/10 quicker than Victor Miranda. It's days of old. It reminds me of the early days back at season 2 when those two were battling away. I think I even remember them battling away in TCRs at Barcelona, and they both came to blows on the final lap.
Speaking of final laps, new fastest lap set by Pedro de Oliveira. He is very fast, and he's keeping it close, right? He's actually climbed incredibly far, 7 places up to challenge the leaders, with Victor Miranda and Caio Valero giving us a show here. About a little bit past the halfway mark, so there's still plenty of race to race, but I don't know if this is going to be the final order we're going to see things in, because not only is the midfield changing quite a bit, this battle for first is unrelenting. Caio Valero absolutely keeping it close, and I think you're going to see him go for it here in the next couple of laps. He has the pace, he has the draft a little bit, and he will be looking to make that happen. You can see closing even a little bit even now, and maybe the next lap is the time to do it. Glad to see that he's been able to stay safe up there. That is a little bit of a safety zone, and a close corner like that, only a couple of tenths behind. You can see he's absolutely looking for an angle to come around the outside.
Yeah, notice that the rear end on Victor Miranda's car is looking a little bit loose. And what I mean by that, folks, is that when he turns it in, the back end steps out a little bit. That's the NASCAR definition there, folks. So when it's tight, it's like cornering on rails, but when it's loose, it's a little bit more playful at the back end. And being a rear-wheel drive car, they sometimes do say that going sideways is not always the fastest, but if it works for a particular driver and they can keep those lap times up, as we're now going underneath the Haggerty Bridge at West Bend, through the downhill, now through the final corner, 2 tenths is the gap. As we continue to ride on board with Caio Valero. Miranda pulls to the left-hand side. Valero to the outside, down the San Posey straight, into Big Bend at turn 1. Miranda still keeps the inside line. New fastest lap by Caio Valero, 56.019. We're on to lap number 9 out of 15. So 7 to go, including this one. Strategic chess game between these two continue here, Reed.
I mean, let's... for Caio Valero, was he not the guy that was actually playing chess while racing?
Or he was probably playing chess when I interviewed him last night. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you.
This guy can't get enough.
Yeah. But it's pretty good. I mean, you can now see that Miranda's started to expand that gap. Coming out of the downhill again here at T7. And speed's now approaching over 190. It's going to be north of 200 kph. That's over 120 miles an hour. Valero's got the slipstream. That's over 130. 211 kph before hitting the anchors. And Caio Gaspar is closing in on Felipe Spetriniv for P4. Oh, in picture, that is Sandro Villaboas and Rafael Blanco. Oh, we've got one up and over.
Yeah, they took the Mario Kart shortcut there for a second. I think they're going to have to maybe take a break here for a second. Yeah, there you see Blanco dropping out also. What is happening off camera behind the scenes? Big shout out to our production for that amazing picture-in-picture. Just goes to show there is a lot going on here. Keeping an eye on the battle for first here as well, as it is absolutely well and truly heating up off the charts there at the front. But we're on board with Caio Gaspar, who's also been having an absolutely monster race of his own, climbing all the way up to 5th place and even looking for an overtake on Spetriniv. 1/10 back, he's going to go for it.
We switch back to the race leaders. Caio Valero, fastest lap of the race, 55.743, 10th and a half between him and Victor Miranda. Caio Gaspar has got past Spetriniv in the meantime for P4, so that's 15 positions gained. There's Lowy Santi closing in on Argentina's Facundo Arago in the number 5 Shell Oils Formula Ford 1600. We go back to the race leaders again through the uphill section at turn 5. Over the crest, down the back straightaway, heading into West Bend here at turn 6. So 2 successive sweeping right-handers under the Haggerty Bridge once again through the downhill. So now we're going to be on to 4 laps remaining when they cross the stripe. As we go on to lap number 12 out of 15. 4 to go, still all to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even for the bottom of the pack, right, there is still money on the line. We do pay out for the top 15 racers, which means that if you're down there, we've got guys like Godoy, Ramos, Calavi. They're out of the points right now. If they get in there and can climb up even just a couple of places, it's still money in the bank, metaphorically speaking. So there's a lot that can still happen at the back of the pack. Meanwhile, up front, this battle for first is absolutely monstrous. 3 laps, and they're pretty short laps, so we'll see what happens here. As you can tell, Gael Valero is just using Victor Miranda to split that air up in front of him. He's coming around the back any moment. That rear view mirror absolutely clogged, chock full of blue livery here. Miranda, you can even see him in your the webcams, looking into his rear view mirror, keeping an eye on where is safe, what is happening, and Gael Valero is coming alongside. The wheels almost interlocking, but the inside of the racetrack, good enough. Amazing defensive driving here from Victor Miranda, and you can tell Gael Valero, he tried, it didn't work, but he's looking for the nearest opportunity to make it happen again.
Yeah, look at the steely eyes of concentration on Victor Miranda's face, because he knows that Valero is going to try every trick in the playbook through the uphill section here at turn 5 once again, as they have got lap traffic just up ahead of them. Already got past one of the other vehicles that is just behind. So through under the Haggerty Bridge once again. Across the line we go. We now start what will be lap number, get this folks, it's going to be 2 to go. Valero pulling to the outside once again into Big Bend. Looking to go around the outside. He's about halfway alongside Miranda, who keeps the tight apex through turns 1 and 2. Into the left-hander here at 3. Adverse camber to the left-hand side for both drivers to contend with. This is getting so close to the wire. They're now making their way through into the chicane that leads them through into the uphill section here at T5 at the chicane. Bouncing over the coast, particularly on the left and the right in the second phase of the chicane, but Valero has got the overspeed. It's now closing in through into turn 6 at West Bend, under the Haggerty Bridge. White flag out this time as they come out of turn 7, out of the downhill. 1.5 miles to go. Valero pulls the left-hand side again. Miranda sticks to the inside. Who's going to get the run at over 200 kilometers an hour? Valero looks to be ahead. He's nearly ahead, but it's Miranda by a nose. He's still, no matter how many times Valero has tried that outside overtake through Big Bend at turns 1 and 2. And a little bit of snap-on oversteer for the number 21 from France. That's given Miranda an advantage of about 3.5 tenths of a second. You know what they say, Reed? Never say never.
White flag is out, and you know, the clock never lies. You've got to make up this time now. It almost feels like that string, right? Just tied between them. Just absolutely laser focused on the line. But, man, Miranda just too good at closing the door whenever it opens. Gael Valero, time's running out. Final lap is here in the midfield. We've also got more action happening back there as the rear racers fight for that last cash spot in 15th. So there's just action everywhere. Santi getting absolutely mown down. His chances are out of here, but we've got to keep an eye on the checkered flags as Miranda, Valero, De Oliveira, Gaspar, Petronev, Rago, and the rest cross the finish line and will finalize their spots. Congratulations to Miranda and Gael Valero. Really, really hard fought and an amazing close to our first race of the day.
Yeah, Victor Miranda picking up at $7 for his victory. Gael Valero picks up $5 plus also an additional $1 in his back pocket, heading the fastest lap time, 55.743, as we wait for Dornella and Guilherme Eliseu from the two Brazilians to cross the line. That completes the finishing order. So Victor Miranda picks up the win in heat number 2 here at AMX 0 race number 3, just by 3.5 tenths of a second ahead of Caio Valero. Pedro de Oliveira in third place, ahead of Caio Gaspar, who stormed up the field from 19th. There's your BenQ session winner, Victor Miranda, who takes the win in the number 1 car. The number 1 signifying that he was the Season 2 overall champion here on AMX Global. If you haven't seen that, check out our social medias whilst you're at it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You know the drill, folks. We'll come up with those a little bit later on before we close things out. But Spetriniv takes P5 ahead of Facundo Rago. Laui Santi has a good effort, finishing 7th at the number 138. Mauricio Lozano, Connor Healy, Diego Villarreal rounds out the top 10. Sandro Boaz, Fabrizio Belziti makes up 10 places to finish 12th ahead of Rafael Blanco, Lucas Donella and Guilherme Eliseu, who all pick up prize money because they finished every single lap, and Guilherme Eliseu being the last of the top 15 in that race. Fabio Zampolini, Peter McMullen, Gaston Colharvey, Gerardo Ramos, Matthias Godoy, Jehan Ahn, Nico Godoy, and unfortunately Jackson Asenje didn't even make it past lap number 1. There you go, folks. That's it for the 2 heats for what has been a crazy race 3 for AMX 0. Wouldn't you agree, Reed?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you see this and you're like, wow, that was amazing, but surely every other race is boring. No! It's actually incredibly exciting no matter where you're looking, right? We had so much action in the midfield, a great top 2 race to the finish there at the end, and it just doesn't get much better than that, or does it? And the answer is yes, it does. And I think we might have a little bit better than that coming up next, right, Alex?
Yes, indeed. We have to say a few thank yous first of all. Thank you to everyone tuning in on the AMX Global YouTube and Twitch streams. We have to say a big thank you to those that are supporting us for AMX Global Season 3. Upbit, who are powering all the broadcasting you see, our faces and our voices being projected to you, as well as the racing action that has been fast, frantic over the course of 5 out of 72 races, folks. I mean, that's just crazy. Next Level Racing, top-tier Australian simulator provider, providing our championship prizes for the overall winners for AMX 0 and AMX 10 this season. Check out the Mobius EX range of BenQ monitors. Big thank you to them, as always, for their support and also for being the sponsors of the session winners and also the BenQ replay. Of course, our parent company, Automatics. They are the foundation of what we have been able to achieve in the past 3 seasons. As we look to hit that next level, we look to be even more top tier, even premier. Don't forget, check us out on social media and also on the relevant streams. So, of course, if you haven't liked us on, if you haven't followed us on Twitch, where have you been? If you've been crawling under a rock for the last 18 months to 2 years, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter. You can also go to amxrace.com, our website. Sign-ups are open on a rolling basis. And of course, until the end of September, we've got the AMX 10. First 10 entries, absolutely free. Otherwise, after that, you snooze, you lose. You have to pay $10 for your AMX 10 entry. We're going to get onto that in a few moments' time. Myself and Reed and the team at our HQ are going to have a little bit of a breather. We'll be back for AMX 10 because up next is the iconic Garden of England circuit in Kent in the southeast of England, Brands Hatch GP. And we're going TCR touring car racing. We'll see you in a bit, folks. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more exciting action here on AMX Global.
Travel through the gateway to find new energy.
Well, welcome back. After a brief hiatus, we're back here in the top tier sim racing league. Of course, welcome back to AMX Global season number 3. It's race day 3. It's AMX 10 race 3. Brands Hatch Grand Prix, nestled deep in the Garden of England, just off of the Orbital M25 motorway, and is steeped in motorsport history, opened back in 1950. And for the first time this season, TCR returns, folks. And what's more, we're going to have a bumper grid tonight. I see 24 cars on the timing screen, including brands such as Hyundai, Audi, and of course, Honda. Welcome back to you all on the AMX Global streams on Twitch and YouTube. It's Alex and Reed back with you once again. Reed, Ray Formula Ford 1600s kickstarted things off at Lime Rock Park for race 3 of AMX 0. Boy, oh boy, was that fantastic. That was exciting. It was chaotic. And what's more, TCR is a firm favourite here at AMX Global. Of course, because of AMX Global being a Korean brand. Of course, Hyundai is one of the top tier TCR cars, and I'm so glad that car is back with that brand is with us on iRacing through the Elantra. Obviously, the Veloster sometimes makes an appearance, but you know what? We've got the boys from Team Redline back again. We've got Ole, we've got Gianni, and we've got Diogo back with us. So take us through AMX 10. What's the skinny? Give us the 411 on that, my good friend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same as it was last race, but if you're joining us for the first time, and I know that there are a few of you who have just found out about the AMX Global League, welcome. Here's the way it works. We got about 3 months of competition, $25,000 on the line, and more races in our league than any other sim racing league in the world. And our format is also one of the most unique parts about this season. We do a 15-minute qualifier, then one 15-minute heat, then a second 15-minute heat, with a small warm-up in between. But the most important part are the top 15 reverse grids in between qualifier and heat 1. We're going to switch things up for the top 15 racers. Keeps it competitive, gives everybody a chance to win, and puts you up towards the top if you're having a difficult day. This is all the sign-up info. If you want to be a part of our broadcast, then feel free to head on over to amxrace.com and sign up. When you do sign up, remember, we'd love to see you. So make sure to head on over to our Discord channel. It's got all of the information for how to join via webcam so that we can put your face on the broadcast and see your intense face of passion during the race. Also helps you enter your payout information on the website. And just a short reminder that our race days are Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday for most of the world. For the United States time zone, this is what we have going on. AMX Zeros on Wednesday start at 7:50 with 10 starting at 9:20 p.m. And then there's Saturday and Sunday weekend races are in the middle of the day or the slight afternoon. So if you've got a free weekend afternoon, come join us on Saturday and Sunday. And if you're of the EU persuasion, this is what it looks like. We got late night or I guess early morning races there at 1:50 and 3:20 a.m. races on Thursday, and then afternoon, evening races on Saturday and Sunday for the rest of you Europeans. 6:50 start time for AMX 0, 8:20 for AMX 10. And a look at the prize pool. This is what we have going on. This is a lot of money on the line. $601 total dollars going out today. That means that $40 first place for qualifiers for Heat 1 and Heat 2. Where else are you going to find a league that's going to pay you for qualifying? Of course, we do reverse grid after that, but if you place first in all 3 sections, it's $120. Math's not my strong point, but it's a lot of money on the line, plus $5 for fastest lap for both of our heats on the line as well.
Yeah, total of $130 if you get pole, win both races, and get fastest laps in both. But the AMX 10 champion will get the FG Elite as an extra prize. This is one of the top tier products from our friends over in Australia. Big thank you to Next Level Racing for providing that. This sim rig worth around $1,100 US in total. Seats and obviously other accoutrements not included, like the e-brake and the pedal set and the direct drive on the main sort of part there. But that is what the AMX 10 champion for Season 3 will get. And of course, the monthly promotion, folks. Don't forget, right up until the end of the calendar month of September, the first 10 entries at every single AMX 10 race right up until the end of the calendar month are free. If you snooze, you lose. You get there first, you don't have to pay the $10 US. That means you even have more profit to make if you get as much money as possible in qualifying and both races along the way. It is open on a rolling basis. You snooze, you lose. But Brands Hatch is a circuit steeped in motorsport folklore. It is one that we have seen time and time again. Measures just over 2.4 miles, just over 3.9 kilometres, and has been open since 1950. It has hosted the GT World Challenge powered by AWS, the British Touring Cars, F4 British, Porsche Carrera Cup Great Britain, and also, kind of funny this, on October the 21st and 22nd, Brands Hatch Grand Prix hosts the final round of the 2023 TCR UK Touring Car Championship. So how's about that? We're bringing a bit of touring car racing to you all here. It's Marco Barbonetta's favourite class. It's also one of my favourite classes. Of course, front-wheel drive, producing anywhere between 340 to 380 brake horsepower, anywhere between 1,200 to 1,500 kilograms, sequential 6-speed gearbox, and what's more, a whole host of manufacturers from the likes of Hyundai, Audi. We've also got Honda, Cyan racing alongs with that as well, with the Cyan 03. We've even seen multiple different cars like the Hyundai i30, Hyundai Veloster amongst that as well. But we have got a 15-minute time qualifying session coming up, and then we've got the reverse top 15 for Heat 1 and the reverse top 15 following on from the results of Heat 1 for Heat number 2. More bang for your buck. Touring car racing, TCR, brings it very, very much in spades. I mean, Reed, it's so good to see that TCR is going to be a staple of our remit here on Season 3 for AMX Global, because this is the first of many appearances. I count at least 4, maybe 5 or 6 times we're going to see it this season. It's a class that everybody loves.
Yeah, absolutely. TCRs are classic. I mean, even beyond the sick liveries and drivers, this is a car you're going to see in a lot of tournaments out there. In fact, quite a few of our competitors have a professional experience driving this car in tournaments and winning lots of money. Not this guy. No. I'm just kidding. It's this is our practice session, so we're going to finish up that, and then we'll move into our qualifiers. So just closing out the practice session. And in case you guys are wondering, okay, wait, practice session? I thought we were racing here. There is a practice session open for about an hour ahead of the race, ahead of both races, AMX 0 and AMX 10. So if you want to get out here, practice the car and the track, because it does change quite frequently, I get it, then make sure to join about an hour earlier, and you can get in there and practice before your big moment, your big debut. And we do have a big debut for quite a few of our racers here, notwithstanding the 3 members of Team Redline who are joining us here today to really set the standard. Although, Alex, you had a chance to cast these guys yesterday, and it's not as easy as it looks.
No, teamwork very much the raison d'etre at Team Redline. We saw them sort of literally being line astern, so Gianni, Ole and Diogo were working in harmony at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit last night in the GT4 class. Of course, they're going to be running in the Audi RS3 LMS. We've also got the number 8 of Mauricio Lozano bringing the Skippy Barber vibes there. So that's really, really good to see. There's Gianni in the number 70 Audi. Of course, now into its second generation in real life, so Gen 1 and Gen 2. Also got the Hyundai Elantra being run by the number 93 of Kieran Harrison. Also, I've just spotted, now this is going to sound coincidental folks, but we have a next level racing ambassador on our grid tonight. It's the number 88 in the Honda Civic Type R. That's Will Chadwick. I recognise that guy, ex-Team Fordzilla. Also has been running with Altus Esports. He's a next level racing ambassador. He's the vice champion of this year's 2023 Porsche Esports Carrera Cup UK. So there's Gianni Vecchio, based out of Germany, but runs with the Italian flag, 24 years of age. And big shout out to Team Redline. They even tagged they said, check out the stream. And they put our channel on their... into the first few throws, of course, Brands Hatch known for its fast sweeping corners. There's Fabulous Fabio, the number 320. Well, let's see what number he's running in tonight. Number 9, but 3rd overall last season in Season 2. Caio Gaspar, well, no, P3 actually, if I remember correctly. I was looking through the AMX social medias, especially on Instagram, seeing who was actually our top 3 overall, and I'm just trying to make sure that I bring that up now on my smartphone before I forget, because there's a lot of time that's passed since Season 2.
Yep.
But
well, while you're looking that up, I'll just oh, did you find it? Sorry.
Gaston Coulharvey was runner-up last season overall.
Yep.
So we've got our top 3 overall, but the first couple of lap times should be coming in. There's Kieran Harrison bump drafting Gianni Vecchio. So Audi versus Hyundai. Vecchio goes in 1 minute 33.943. Kieran Harrison 1:33.361. Diego Pinto goes E4 as Gael Valero goes 3rd on a 1:33.949. Maurizio Lozano 7th as Fabrizio Belziti in the Hyundai goes up to P5. Caio Gaspar is having a bit of a difficult moment at the moment because difficult evening because he's just had an off track. Jehan An rejoins us in the 116. So of course the Hyundai Elantra NTCR, one of 3 model variants that Hyundai have provided for TCR competitors around the globe, created back in 2014 by Marcello Lotti from World Sporting Consulting, brains behind this production-based touring car spec series. So these are cars that are built on a production line and then shoehorned off to the manufacturers who build them and sell them as customer cars. Kieran Harrison absolutely flying through the opening 2 sectors. Gianni Vecchio is improving. So Kieran Harrison could be on the opportunity of maybe going into the very low 133s as he heads down in towards Clearways and into Clark Curve, the final corner at this 9-turn circuit. A lot of elevation changes. Down onto the Brabham Straight goes the number 93. 1:33.360 was his previous lap time, and this time I'm waiting for it to turn up. 1:34.586. Last couple of sectors for him were a little bit on the slow side. Valero is 5 1/1000ths off of Gianni Vecchio as we're over a third of the way through. Will Chadwick, oh there we go, that next level racing equipment that he uses, bringing him towards the front of the field. There's Kieran Harrison. Showed his elbows very much were sharpened last night, folks. Ben Faulkner, also from the UK, in the number 4 Hyundai, goes up into 10th place, top 10 covered by 8.5 tenths of a second. Jackson Desenje, currently rounding out the top 10, make that the top 11 now, as we are seeing more changes. Gaston Coulharvey, within 73 thousandths of Kieran Harrison, 1:33.434. Gianni Vecchio has a little bit of an off track. There's Diego Pinto, Portuguese driver, currently running on board with his Audi RS3 LMS, the number 3. So for those wondering which numbers are Team Redline running in, it's number 70 for Gianni Vecchio, Oli Steinberater number 69, and Diego Pinto the number 3. Diego's got some improvements, but look at how close things are between 6th all the way down to 10th. Everyone is either split by thousandths of a second, and there is the number 33 threading the eye of the needle through into Clark Curve out of Clearways. That is Gael Valero, who's 5 1/1000ths off of 6th place. Kieran Harrison, first one to break into the 132s. 1:32.889. Valero responds with a 1:33.021. There's Ben Faulkner in the number 4. Out of the final corner at Clark Curve onto the Brabham Straight, named after the late 3-time Formula 1 world champion Sir Jack Brabham. Son David has also competed in Formula 1, also runs his own esports team himself, based out of Oxfordshire these days, is the Aussie. Son Sam is now also racing back over down under in Australia. De Oliveira currently sitting in 8th position as we are halfway through this qualifying session. And at the moment here, Reed, Kieran Harrison is doing a bit of a number on the opposition.
Oh, hey there. Yeah, no, I'm here too, and so is Kieran Harrison. This guy's going to be the favorite for this race. And actually, that's really impressive because we do have members of Team Redline competing, as we mentioned earlier, and of course, the who's who of incredibly talented racers that are familiar faces here in AMX. Yeah, Kieran goes way back. This guy has not only competed specifically in TCRs in PCO tournaments previously. He's actually the champion, the TCR champion of the 24-hour esports series with another good friend of AMX Racing, Quarantine Guinness. The teammates, and they've won so many 24-hour series events together as they are teammates on Team RC. So representing not only his team, but also just incredibly highly skilled when it comes to racing TCRs. So that's probably why you're going to see him absolutely excel. Another guy you're going to want to watch at the top of the standings, Ollie Steinbraten, like we said earlier. This guy really, really putting Norway on the map. I was giving him a hard time about the food up there, but the real truth is that I have yet to really sample a lot of that. But he is bringing his style to not only Team Redline, but also to AMX here in AMX 10 this season. And it's going to be really exciting to see what he can put up there. But, you know, it's proving to be a little bit challenging, not only to like position yourself on the track because you really want to get a good run in without having any impedance in your way. But I mean, it's just a testament to how competitive and difficult this field is. We just have very, very skilled racers, and it's exciting to see them put up very comparable times. I think the TCR record in real life on Brands Hatch is really close to like a 117, which is not that bad, right? So this is obviously a little bit higher. 133 is British touring cars, so maybe that's a little bit closer to what you're going to see the racers put down early on, but it's still very, very competitive, and nice to see some of our who's of drivers. Guile Valero up there in second place, keeping it a very exciting race to watch.
Yeah, we're about on a par. Just having a look at some of the lap records at the moment, in regards to the British Touring Car Championship, which you just mentioned there, Reed.
Yep, Rob Collard.
Rob Collard now running in Fanatec GT World Challenge alongside Sandy Mitchell. Rob Collard's son, Ricky Collard, running with the Toyota Gazoo UK squad run by Speedworks Motorsport in the British Touring Car Championship this season, running in the Toyota Corolla GR Sport. Lovely looking car. Known Rob for many a year. Known Ricky, met Ricky actually last season in the British Touring Car Championship paddock. He was actually driver coaching for somebody else, and it was really good to catch up with him. He's effectively our version of Connor Daly. When you think of mullets in motorsport, you think of Connor Daly in the US. In the UK, it is Ricky Collard.
Yep, I mean, very iconic. I wish that we had more of those in sim racing. I don't think they're very well represented in sim racing. Obviously, real racing and mullets go hand in hand. You can talk to Mercedes about that. Very, very cool to see them. Ben Faulkner also joining us. Quite a bit of skill in his pinky finger, more than exists in my entire body when it comes to sim racing. His setup is actually one of the sickest that I've ever seen. I think he posted a picture of it a few days ago. Very, very cool to see him out here, and we're expecting to see maybe a little bit of an improvement there, but still running with a 133 absolutely means you're keeping the pace. And I mean, just look at what the pace is right now. It's just tenths and hundredths of seconds separating the entire pack, with the exception of some gods of the game up there. Guile Valero and Kieran Harrison putting up 132s. That's going to be hard to beat.
It's going to be very hard to beat indeed, Reed. 132.668, Guile Valero 132.949. Iago Pinto currently rounding out the top three. There's Jackson Desenge in the number 6. And we've seen him have quite a few battles, especially in AMX 0 Race 3 earlier on tonight when we headed to Lakeville, Connecticut. for Lime Rock Park on the Ray Formula Ford 1600s. Folks, just to give you a bit of an update for Race Week 2, coming up next Wednesday, the NASCAR Chevy Silverado will be at the USA International Speedway, a circuit specifically with iRacing in mind. And then that's for AMX 0. And then NASCAR 22 Next Gen class will be at IMS, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, on the open wheel oval on Wednesday. Saturday will be Renault Clio Cup at the Red Bull Ring and FIA Formula 4 at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, the Temple of Speed. And then to cap things off on the Sunday will be Toyota GR86 at Rudskogen for AMX 0, and AMX 10 will be the 992 Porsche 911 GT3 Carrera Cup car at the full course, the home of Petit Le Mans Road Atlanta.
A lot of really cool cars and tracks coming up, and if you want the full breakdown, you can head on over to amxrace.com. We're going to have a schedule up there for everybody to check out, and it really does break down really incredible. All the cars and tracks are on iRacing. There's so many to pick from, not the least of which are TCR cars. Fabrizio Belziti, I got a chance to see him take the exit there the hard way while he was on camera. And on board with Lozano right now, he's at a 133.6, which is completely respectable. But keep in mind, he's at the cutoff, right? That's 15th. So if he falls one more spot, reverse gridded, and he's only got a couple of minutes left to resecure that spot. It's very competitive there towards the bottom, but it is sort of like an escape, right? You have to escape from those final 5 places to climb up into at least 15th, so that you do get flipped up into the top. And there is pricing for every single part of this race today. Qualifiers, Heat 1 and Heat 2. So you're going to have $40 on the line here for the top. But if you do claim that prize, it just makes it a little bit more difficult once we flip the script for the second part of the race, Heat number 1. Gianni Vecchio there on your screen, running the number 5 and in 5th, or running number 70 in 5th place. There's reading not my strong point, but he is still up there, and actually sets a new 3rd place time, goes 3rd fastest, 1:33.06, and so that is that's just touching the 132. Still can't break into the upper echelons of Kieran Harrison and Gael Valero, as they are really closing the door on what has been an incredibly competitive field.
Yep, coming down to the final few seconds here, ahead of heat number 1 for AMX 10, race number 3 here in the Garden of England. Checked out some lap times at British touring cars, which are full-blown touring cars. There's no real expense spared on them, but they do have spec parts. There is the qualifying session concluded. British touring car championship cars will run around this circuit around about a low 1:30, low 1:29. But there it is. Heat 1 grid is being sorted as we speak. Kieran Harrison puts it on pole position, which becomes 15th, and thereby becomes our BenQ session winner. 7/100ths ahead of Gael Valero. Gianni Vecchio from Team Red Line rounds out the top 3 ahead of Gaston Kulhavi, Diogo Pinto, Will Chadwick from Altus Esports, also a Next Level Racing ambassador. Good to have him with us this evening. Fabrizio Belziti, Kaya Gaspar, Victor Miranda, Fabio Zampolini, Ben Faulkner, Pedro Di Oliveira, Oli Steinbraten will start 3rd, having qualified 13th. Jackson Resenge, and from CLK Esports, Mexico's Mauricio Lozano, representing a bit of Skip Barber in the house tonight, will start on the reverse grid, top 15 pole position. Noah Afani, Facundo Arago, and Simon Di Mori round out the top 18. We do have 24 cars on the grid. Air temperature 25.5 degrees Celsius, and track temperature just a shade under 39.5 degrees Celsius. Mauricio Lozano will start from pole. Desenge alongside Oli Steinbraten, Pedro Di Oliveira, Ben Faulkner, Fabio Zampolini, Victor Miranda, Caio Gaspar, Fabrizio Belziti, Will Chadwick, Diogo Pinto, Gaston Kulhavi, Gianni Vecchio, Gael Valero, Kieran Harrison ran at the top 15. Noah Afani, Facundo Arago, Simon Di Mori, Diego Villarreal, and Jehan An will round out the top 20 positions. Looks to be Lucas Dornella, Lico Godoy, Laui Santi, and Felipe Spetriniv set to be on the grid to complete the 24 cars. Adverse camber to the right-hand side, and it's going to be 10 laps of racing action here at Brands Hatch. Green flag, lots of front front end wheel spin as the revs build, as these near 350 brake horsepower cars head into Paddock Hill Bend for the opening tour. Blind crest, over, down the dip, through the Hailwood Hill. Someone's running a little bit wide, nearly touching the gravel on the left-hand side. Up the climb, in towards Druid. This is going to be a first gear corner, taking around about 45 miles an hour. As, no, Gianni Vecchio's been sparred by Kieran Harrison. Oh no, it's happened all over again.
How do they take each other out? They're two of the favorites for this race, and they're not making it easy for either of them. This is very similar to what happened yesterday. Team Red Light, they got to play their defensive driving cards right in the early phase of the race. Otherwise, it just makes it, hard mode, a little bit rough there. And that's Vecchio out. Kieran is still running in 13th, but Vecchio might want to come back, try for either a fastest lap or make it up into 15th to get reverse gridded back in. A rough start for the Team Redline member, but while we check in with the rest of them, Ollie Steinbratton up there at 6th, and he's in good company with Diego Pinto right behind him in 8th, about a second back.
Yeah, they're making their way through the far part of the circuit here at Brands Hatch Grand Prix, 2.433 miles. Into Stirling's goes Diego Pinto as they run under the Advan Bridge, heading into clearways, and then into Clark Curve. Someone's just gone off 2 wheels off the circuit and onto the grass as Pinto closes in on. Here's the look back picture in picture. Well, Gianni Vecchio was turning the steering wheel in, and Kieran Harrison found a gap very, very closing, folks. That's exactly how it looked from my perspective. And Gianni, remember what happened last night, folks? He was about to get the lead, having started right from the back of the reverse grid, and he nearly got it, and then ended up being collecting his teammate Diego Pinto. They were both out, and Ollie Steinbratton managed to make it to the end after what was a crazy race at Nürburgring last night in GT4s. Brad will testify to that completely, and I know for a fact. Mr. Dalton, you are watching, along with everybody else that's joining us on Twitch and YouTube. Tell us who you're supporting here tonight on AMX 10 Race 3 Heat number 1, as Lozano is leading ahead of Vicente, Di Oliveira, Zampolini, Miranda, Belziti, Steinbratton. We're now running on board with behind the number 18. As that's not going to be that's going to be a bit close to the wire, especially if they bump over the curbs in these front-wheel drive cars, and that will be coming through in towards now Stirling's, having gone through Sheen Curve. At Westfields, we've seen some high, wide and handsome overtakes, but Lozano still leads at the minute, about 2.5 tenths of a second ahead of Vicente. Out through Clark Curve, out of clearways, and across Brabham Straight we go to complete lap 2. 8 to go, including this one. Lozano from Vicente, Di Oliveira, Zampolini, Vicente, new fastest lap, as we're running on board with Victor Miranda, closing in on fabulous Fabio Zampolini, both in a pair of Audi. Well, Miranda currently in the Hyundai, Zampolini in the Audi. Miranda was running, actually, funnily enough, in the Audi RS3 at Silverstone, if anyone might remember the incident that involved Miranda, where he got hit in the side. I think it was Gaston Well, someone's brought the Ken Block Hoonigan tribute livery band back again. Oh, someone's got off. That was
another huge spin. This is Resenge, right? Yeah.
Mamma mia. Valeto's put in the fastest lap, but Valeto's up 7 positions from 14th to 7, nearly 3 wide, coming down Pilgrim's Drop into the run into Hawthorns. Fast sweeping right-hander, taking around 5th gear, over 110 miles an hour. It's going to be dropping down a gear through the Derek Minter Straight into Westfields, and then you've got Dingle Dell, one of the most committed and demanding parts of this Brands Hatch circuit. Got a real good battle hood. Di Oliveira stuck in between. Diego Pinto in front of him. Gaio Valeto trying to put the pressure on, but Di Oliveira is giving Diego Pinto something to think about. That's the battle for P5, and there is next to nothing in it between the top 10. None of them are any more than 8 tenths of a second apart as Zampolini looks to get the draft on Lozano. Lap 3 completed so far in this opening heat. Zampolini looking to the outside into Paddock Hill Bend. Valeto with a new fastest lap, 1 minute 33.638. He's dropped down to 7th. Zampolini could have Miranda up the inside through into Druids. The number 17 Hyundai looks to make the assault on the number 9 Audi. Down the hill into Graham Hill Bend. Oh, Miranda sweeps in front of Belziti. Zampolini's lost.
Can he keep it? He's trying to...
Wait, he kept it. He kept it. He kept it, but his 2 wheels on the grass.
Wow. Oh, nudge.
Yeah, it's going to be... Well, no, they all got away with that scot-free there, Reed.
Wow.
Absolutely ridiculous. Pure control. Harrison's in there. Harrison's right and Piggy in the middle. Incredible stuff, and they are 2x2 hurrah. Valero swarming all over the back bumper of Miranda going into Hawthorns. De Oliveira's looking up the inside of the number 33 from Apex Racing Team. Patterson is there waiting the wing. Steinbraten, Gaspar, Kulharvi. And it could be that Facundo Rago could also factor in. Don't try and go around the outside of Valero. He sweeps to the inside. De Oliveira closes the door. Coming out of Westfields, going into Sterling's. TCR Racing is back with a bang here at the top tier racing series known as AMX Global.
Yeah, man, Kyle Valero also, you can see him on your screen right there. Pedal to the metal. This guy, huge in qualifying. Absolutely massive. He's already made up 7 spots there. 9 spots made up by Diego Pinto is now challenging for the lead with Lozano, but man, Pinto is coming for them. I cannot imagine how Miranda must feel right now because he is absolutely struggling to keep that 5th place alive. Harrison falls back a spot uncharacteristically, and we're still trying to keep an eye on him. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but he's now back 2, almost back 3 now. So really, really difficult phase of the race. We're about halfway through, so reaching the 50th point, and it is not getting any easier from here. You can just see how close the entire field is right now. Nobody letting up at all.
You know what? I have to give credit where credit is due to Mauricio Lozano, the Mexican. He is leading by just over 0.8 of a second as the field are going again side by side into, that's Gaspar and Kulharvi, through into Hawthorns. And who has gotten through? It's going to be Gaspar, the number 19, rocking the Ken Block Hoonigan tribute band. One of the early liveries we saw in his Gymkhana antics before he passed the torch on to Travis Pastrana. But now we're getting towards the end of the first half of this race. My goodness me, Pinto closing, Belziti, Zampolini, Miranda, De Oliveira, Valero, Harrison, Steinbraten. That is the top 9, folks, and if you look on the delta between the drivers, look, they're all like little pigs in a row. They are all lining up, and Pinto puts in the fastest lap of the race, 1:33.250, around about a cumulative lap time that we would see from a TCR UK car in real life, about 3.5 seconds slower than the current generation of the British Touring Car Championship, which have significantly more power going through the front wheels. But these are production spec cars. Pinto gets to run out of Graham Hill Bend, but he's got Belziti clawing all over the back of him. Oh, Pinto with a set into Surtees. That's brilliant from absolutely nowhere. Diogo Pinto takes the race lead, but he's not out of the woods yet. Lozano to his right hand side. Belziti looks to thread the eye of the needle. Down Pilgrim's Drop into Hawthorns. Move is complete. Pinto takes the lead. Wow, wow, wow.
You have a completely wheel-to-wheel right now. Lozano right there, keeping it close behind him, along with Belziti. Pinto with an absolutely incredible overtake to take the lead. And you might have known that was coming, but for Mauricio Lozano, man, he really made him work for it. Now about a second back, so you can really see the pace that Diego Pinto has able to overtake that. But
big turn! That's Belziti! Belziti got turned around by De Oliveira coming out of Sterling's. Oh, it was getting
Tragedy.
a bit too close for comfort. Yeah, the ABBA tribute bandit. Oh, dearie me, big incident! No. Big incident! Oh, who on earth was that was into the back of
Oliveira?
Oh my God.
Arago all out of there at the last second. Man, we're at lap 7, right? So the trajectory of this race has just completely changed. Absolute carnage there. And it's right behind the race leaders. We're on board right now with Victor Miranda just to see how close that looks. And he's trying to keep it on the track. Victor Miranda dropping down 2-3 spots.
He got a touch from Zampolini on the right rear. Valero out round the outside of Zampolini, through out of Surtees, and now it's 3 wide behind him. Harrison to the outside, Miranda to the inside. Zampolini was piggy in the middle and has been kiboshed by the pair of them. Look at the positioning from Victor Miranda. He was trying to get through on Gael Valero, through into Hawthorns, now down the Minter Straight into Westfield. It is absolutely chaotic for this opening race, this opening heat for race 3 of AMX 10. We have lit the touch paper. Belziti, look at this, inside, and it was the Oliveira that turned him around. So Belziti goes backwards, nearly gets collected, rejoins. That's in the picture-in-picture. Harrison has been playing his cards right all the way through. Really, really good job from him so far. He's up to P6 at the minute. He put it on pole positions. That's 9 places gained. Pinto, now new fastest lap of the race, extends his lead over Mauricio Lozano to 1.7 seconds. 3 to go, including this one. Gianni Vecchio back in the fray, up to 11th now. Is the 24-year-old from Team Redline, 1.3 seconds behind Ben Faulkner. Will Chadwick has rejoined and he's currently 13th. That could put him on the inside of row number 2 on P3. Right on board with Kieran Harrison as he's closing in on the number 9 of Fabio Zampolini, through out of Cooper Straight into Surtees, named after the only man to win on 2 and 4 wheels in terms of World Championship titles. Man who should have been knighted, John Surtees. Man who I had the pleasure of meeting in person in real life. Very, very wonderful man, and unfortunately no longer with us, but a real legend. Modern day motorsport. Harrison swarming all over the back of Fabio Zampolini on the run through into Westfield, now down into the dip here at Dingledell. Harrison a little bit cleaner on the exit. He's got Ollie Steinbraten and Caio Gaspar not that far behind. Pinto, with coming up to 2 laps to go, has bolted. He's clear, he's checked out. And there is the Oliveira. We've got a replay coming. The Oliveira gets turned around. Now, that was the number 3 of... was that... oh, he lost a wheel. Left front wheel, and then gets collected. And that Hyundai Elantra NTCR is going to get a virtual invoice for that one, and that's a total loss.
Man, yeah, the blue car kind of looking a little bit like Sonic, dropping his rings everywhere. It's just absolute carnage. And I mean, it is a tragedy. He's down there at the bottom. If he can climb up a few more spaces, and he might be on his way here in a second, then maybe he can make a trip back up the order in our next heat. But yeah, really unfortunate to see him drop out there. On board now with Fabio Zampolini, who is having to defend to the nail against Kieran Harrison. We're now on board with him coming up the inside. Looks like he's finally going to be able to get it done, and we switch to a different view to see him now in front. Really commanding overtake there, and you're just going to see it over and over again. This is reminiscent of the move that Diogo Pinto did to get into first. Now making the overtake happen to get up into fifth on our penultimate lap.
I think there was definitely a bit of paint swapping there, Reed, to be honest with you. But now there is a move coming up. That is Gael Valero. That's going to be for P2 at one of the most gnarliest places on the circuit. That was going through Westfields. That was actually coming out of Sheen Curve. Valero up to second. Miranda looking at around the outside through Sterlings. That's a great move from Miranda on Lozano, who drops to fourth. Have to give credit where credit is due. Mauricio Lozano doing an absolutely brilliant job, but Diogo Pinto now will start the 10th and final lap of this race. White flag in the air. Pinto with a lead of 3.3 seconds. Valero, Miranda, Lozano, Harrison, Zampolini, Steinbraten, Gaspar and Kulharvi still squabbling like the 2 petulant children in the playground, battling over the last swing to see who's going to get on there first. At the moment, Gaspar is quite clearly staying ahead at the minute.
out with Gianni Vecchio. His race was really tragic, and I thought that he was just going to sit down there at the bottom and get the regrid in 15th, but he actually decided to put the pedal to the metal, said, all right, if you're going to give it to me, I'm going to take it, and now he's actually climbed back up to 11th. Like, wait a second, there's like money on the line or something. You can see the dollar values for the places right there off to the side. Vecchio's like, I don't really want just like $3, so he's climbing up, and he's already almost doubled his money. Might even be able to take another point as he continues up the order. Speaking of up the order, Zamperlini is doing, once again, an amazing job defending against his Team Redline adversary right behind him in the mirror. But all he's got his hands full with Lozano, side to side, deadly race between these two competitors, and the middle of the pack just absolutely monstrous. Zamperlini, a titan of AMX Global League Season 2, has managed to really live up to his name there, defending against one of the absolute best out there.
Pinto crosses the line, takes the win for Team Redline. Milano for Apex Racing Team takes second, Miranda third. It's going to be runs the line for sixth, Lozano and Steinbraten. It's Lozano by 57 thousandths of a second. Kieran Harrison takes fourth ahead of Fabio Zamperlini. Kaya Gaspar pips his old rival from Season 2, Gaston Kulharvi. Then we had Ben Faulkner running at the top 10. Gianni Vecchio from Team Redline taking 11th. Will Chadwick running in the number 88. The Next Level Racing Ambassador from the UK takes 12th. Simon Di Mori 13th. Fabrizio Belziti, Simon Di Mori 13th. Fabrizio Belziti 14th and 15th from the land of the stars and stripes. Nora Afani takes 15th and thereby is the last driver in this race to pick up some cool US dollars in their pocket, and also will take Heat 2 top 15 reverse grid pole position. Absolute craziness in that race. You know what? I mean, I thought the Formula Fords were crazy. TCR has taken it to another level. There is your BenQ session winner. Team Redline's Diogo Pinto from Portugal. Gael Valero, Miranda, Harrison, Zamperlini, Lozano, Steinbraten, Gaspar, Kulharvi and Faulkner ran at the top 10. Gianni Vecchio, Will Chadwick, Simon Di Mori, Fabrizio Belziti, Nur Afani round out the top 15, all scoring those very, very crucial US dollars. Don't forget, folks, for those drivers that do join us here on AMXRace.com, at the end of every month, if you've got more than 100 US dollars of winnings so far, what we will do is make sure that you get a bit of a payout, folks. So head on over to AMXRace.com for further information on what races are coming up as we get the warm-up underway. Reed, the first TCR heat of Season 3 was complete, utter madness. I cannot stress that enough.
Yes, no, I agree. I was like, well, there's a lot that you can say about that, right? Madness, carnage. I honestly, I was just once again really, really impressed by the defensive aspect of the race, right? You have a lot of drivers of all skill levels around you in the middle of the pack, and it can get a little bit hectic. So how do you navigate the field and come out through all of the mayhem to claim these coveted spots to get the prize money that's on the line, $40 first and a whole lot more through the rest of the top 15. It is a lot harder than it looks, but you still consistently see guys like Diogo, who was second place, was Gael Valero. Also, he once again climbed the entire way after the reverse grid into that top spot. So really, really impressive to see there. And looks like we might have an interview coming up in just a little bit to hear more from our racers, more from our drivers who, honestly, I gotta know just what it feels like to survive something like that, because it's going to be a crazy time.
Yeah, let's have a quick catch up with Team Redline's Gianni Vecchio. Gianni, again, we get to talk to one another. 2 nights on the track. Good to have you back again with Diogo and Ole as well. First race didn't really go to plan there after 3 or 4 corners, did it?
Yeah, it wasn't really planned to get taken out in turn 2, but yeah, that's what he gets. I mean, TCR is always close racing. Car, then I think none of us has ever done, or like has done in the near past. But yeah, I think we shouldn't have picked the Audi. But it is what it is. The the Hyundai seems to be quite good. So let's see what we can do in the second one.
Brilliant. Okay, Gianni, we'll let you to it. Have a good one for heat number 2 here tonight, and good luck to the rest of the team at Redline with Ollie and Diogo. So there we go. Well, Reed just jumps out of shot just then. We're literally about a minute and 3/4 away. You're right there, Reed. I know it's early in the morning there in South Korea, but you know you're still very, very chipper. I hate to think how many coffees or energy drinks you've had today, along with the rest of the team, including TJ. Jacob's doing a fantastic job. You know, Jacob's been doing a lot of our video content here on AMX Global for the social media, but he's now jumped into the realm of broadcasting. And you know what? We have to give him props. He's been doing a stellar job so far, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't say enough about the team behind the scenes. I'm multitasking here myself. So the only member who gets to be simultaneously in front and behind the scenes. There's a lot going on across the entire field of AMX Global. So we're doing our best to bring you guys the absolute best in sim racing. We've got a tournament not only this season, but we've been running it for many, many seasons before this. So if you're just now tuning in, you're getting the best that it's ever been. And we still have a lot more to go in this final heat, this final, we're warming up before we get to the heat. And this one is obviously going to be the feature. It's where we've had practice, we've had the first qualifier, we've had the first heat, and now all of our racers are a little bit more acclimatized to the situation. So if you didn't know what you're getting yourself into, now everybody is on board. And as we restart things, you know, this is another chance for guys like we just heard in the interview. The idea is, it's crazy. And if you're not as familiar with the cars or the tracks, it's a lot. The learning curve is definitely there. You can't just swap your talents between every car, every track, and have a good performance. It takes some getting used to. So now we sort of wind things forward to the ultimate, the final race of the night for AMX 10 race number 3. We're all the way to heat number 2. And if you haven't scored yet, if you haven't gotten yourself in the money, now is your last chance as we grid up and get ready for heat number 2.
Yeah, Barney the flag marshal on the start-finish straight, always a firm favourite here in the iRacing sim racing community. But here is your starting grid. Noor Afani from the USA will have Fabrizio Belziti alongside him. Well, we're waiting for the full grid to show up very, very shortly. But again, this 2.433 mile circuit, 9 turns and all, will be the backdrop for our second and final heat. There we have our grid starting to assemble. So it's Noor Afani, Fabrizio Belziti, Simon Dimori, Will Chadwick, Gianni Vecchio, Ben Faulkner, Gaston Colharvi, Caio Gaspar, Ollie Steinbraten, Mauricio Lozano, rounding out the top 10. Fabio Zampolini, Kieran Harrison, Victor Miranda, Gael Valero, and Team Redlines, Diego Pinto rounding out the top 15. Diego Villarreal, Laui Santi, Nico Godoy, and also Jehan An rounding out top 19. But the green flag has waved. Now we get underway with regards to the race, and it's 3 wide going into Paddock Hill Bend on the opening tour. Are they all going to make it through? Yes, they do.
Wow, really impressive start there. The first bend is usually carnage, but I think you can see a lot of, I guess, defensiveness as compared to our first heat of the day. So everybody's still on track for now, and as I say that, we have our first spin. Luckily not collecting too many cars, but you might see a little bit more. Oh my god, so much contact there towards the back. You see Spectre now. It's the Pinto who drops back to 15th, and it's still in the race for now, but a rough start. Diogo Pinto trying to hold on back there, but the pit pack is now a tragedy for Mori, who's all the way out.
That was Noor Afani off in the Castrol liveried Hyundai. Oh my goodness! I've even seen the front hood of Diogo Pinto's Audi stoved in like a good un. My godfathers, what on earth have these people been having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? My godfathers! I mean, if they've been having energy drinks, God forbid. But Belziti leads, Chadwick second, Kulharvi third, Steinbraten up to P4. There's Victor Miranda closing in on Ben Faulkner for 5th place, coming out of Sterling's. Now heading into Clearways and into Clark Curve. Oh, what has been I thought the first lap was chaotic. That was even more madness right there, Reed.
I mean, Alex, let me give you a pop quiz here real fast. How many laps is this race? A, 1, B, C, and D are 10. And it seems like a lot of these people just wait for the first answer. Like, this lap is one lap long, and so I have to like just send it here. Except that, guys, come on, you got to play the long game. The first curve is not the last curve. You got to make it the whole way. And look at that tragedy from the Zamperlini crash. You can see just absolutely horizontal in the middle of the track. And honestly, I expected worse than that.
The thing is that Zamperlini got touched. He collects Lozano, who then goes into the path of Diogo Pinto. And that is why Pinto's Audi looks like it's had a wrecking ball hit it at the front. No, it hasn't. It's had the corner of a TCR car hit it. But we're now riding on board with Diogo Pinto, who's being chased down by Laui Santi briefly. There's Diego Villarreal closing in on Caio Gaspar. Audi versus Hyundai as they make their way through into Westfield and onto the Derek Minter Straight before going through into Westfield, going through Dingle Dell. My apologies there. The Derek Minter Straight is actually before Westfield. I'm getting my geography in terms of corner names mixed up again. There's the Nor Afani crash. So it's coming out of Surtees and on the run to Pilgrim's Drop. So Simon Timori gets turned around. Then watch what happens here. Afani's on the right-hand side of the circuit. Oh, gets a touch. Gets the second touch. And that is bang into the barriers. And that is not going to buff out.
No, you're going to have to go straight back to the pits for that one. Hopefully we do see them back, but man, once again, middle of the pack is absolute carnage, so you have to be extremely careful as you navigate the danger zone there. But honestly, as we get up to the front, this is where you see some of the most skilled racers you're ever going to lay eyes on. On board with Kieran Harrison, and this guy's a TCR, a veteran. Absolutely somebody that you should expect to see way up there, along with Ben Faulkner, who is right next to him. I mean, you know these guys better than I do, Alex, but it's so impressive to see so much representation for the original continent here.
Yeah, Kieran Harrison making a move on Ole Steinbrat, and he's got through on the Norwegian. Down Pilgrim's Drop, they are side by side, but Harrison gets through. Flash of the lights there from the Norwegian, heading into Hawthorns and onto the Derek Minter Straight. Fabrizio Belziti has the fastest lap. That will pick you up all $5 here in AMX 10. But Steinbraten not giving that position up. Look who's behind. I see Victor Miranda and Ben Faulkner. Miranda's up from 13th to 6th. Caio Gaspar is holding station in 8th. Pinto's up from 15th to 10th with a very, very rearranged front end of the Audi. Facundo Rago's just dropped a couple of positions, started stone dead last, and is currently sitting in P14 behind Jackson Resenje, who's now behind Jaehan An, who didn't have a good run in AMX 0 a little bit earlier on in the second heat. Will Chadwick, in the meantime, is closing the cap. He closed up on Fabrizio Belziti from Argentina by 3.5 tenths of a second. Kieran Harrison, oh, what a lap from him, 132.981 for the number 93. You can just see how quickly he is moving forward and trying to close on in. As soon as he gets past Gaston Kulhavi, and there is the number 27 Audi, piloted by the Argentinian, who is getting, I think he's going to have a lot of yellow, cyan blue Hyundai. Well, I was going to say behind him. It's now alongside him and passed for P3.
Wow, impressive overtake from Kieran Harrison. He and Chadwick have gotten a neck and neck now, and Belziti has done such an incredible job after the regrid from the reverse, the reverse grid. Really, really impressive maintenance of that first place position, but he can't take it for granted. While Harrison might have a 2-second gap, after that, it is just absolutely neck and neck up in the top 7. I mean, getting back there to the midfield, also, once again, the danger zone. We might have more action there as we're only 4 out of 10 laps through our second heat here at Brands Hatch. It's not, you can't absolutely count anybody out just yet. On board now with Victor Miranda, a guy that honestly I think I might have expected a little bit more from in the races we've seen this season. In Season 2, this guy was the god of the game. Really impressive racer, but now kind of struggling as we've upped the competition level incredibly. Now he's got to contend with guys like Alice Steinbraten, Team Redline up there in 5th, so it's not going to be an easy trip up the roster anytime soon.
Yeah, we did see an incident there with Facundo Rago, who was coming out of Sheen Curve, lost the back end, hit the barriers going in towards Sterling's. We now see Jaehan An in the Hyundai, the 116 from South Korea. He's battling away with Jackson Resenje, Laui Santi, Lucas Dornella. It's the battle for 11th position. Oh, Jaehan An runs a little bit wide coming out of Surtees. Resenje immediately to the left-hand side and noses ahead for the moment, but now gets the side drop. That's going to open the floodgates. Look at the two behind. There's Laui Santi. He's not going to get through. Jackson, he manages to keep it on the black stuff, goes wide, out of Hawthorns, down the Derek Minter straight. He kept the throttle pinned. He's done it again through Westfield, now into Dingledell, and Jaehan An gets back through, retakes the position. Bit of shortcutting through Sheen there by Jackson Resenje. He's got to watch his incident points as the number 6, to be completely honest with you. But we are now halfway through, and it's halfway to go. 5 laps still remaining. Belziti has Chadwick in his rear view mirrors, all 3 of them, side and full main rear view. It's 7 tenths between them. Kieran Harrison, in the meantime, has got the gap down between himself and Chadwick to 1.1 seconds and has set a new fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 32.612, as we ride on board with Lucas that is Victor Miranda, who's got Ollie Steinbraten, the 21-year-old Norwegian from Team Redline. Faulkner closing in on Gaspar, that's for 7th, going through into Surtees. So there is a lot of flotsam and jetsam around this circuit, as in TCR cars in close proximity with one another, and that just goes to show how competitive TCR racing really is, especially around this tight and very challenging circuit.
You know the difference between flotsam and jetsam? Talk about that later. No, but absolutely competitive. The TCR cars, I don't know if it's just specifically UK drivers, but we have a lot of great representation here, and they're just so good. Chadwick Harrison really putting on a clinic, even in the face of some of the greatest competition we've got out here from professional racers, more than just Team Redline, Team RC and the rest, very well represented up at the top of the table. Faulkner, now we're on board with him, and he is right in the middle of the pack, but as we've seen earlier, very dangerous place to be, especially with Pinto right behind him in his rear view mirror. I'd love to see what that onboard looks like, because you gotta know it's coming. He's trying to get up close in person though. Wow, I don't know if there's any scrapage going on there, but it still looked very, very close. Faulkner is really playing a dangerous game.
He was trying to do the Five Nations British Rallycross attempt of a joker lap through the gravel coming out of Paddock Hill Bend as he touched the back of Victor Miranda going over the crest. Sen coming through here. That is Chadwick for the race lead. Chadwick for the race lead on Fabrizio Belziti, and the number 88 gets through. Here's Harrison closing on quickly. He's up the inside. Down Pilgrim's. Yeah, Pilgrim's drop, and now Harrison looks to the outside of Chadwick. Through into Hawthorn. Now into the Minster Straight they go once again. Into Westfield. Chadwick defends. Sweeps to the inside once more. Goes back on the racing line. Less than 2 tenths separating these 2 British Titans. And they're on home soil. They'll know it better than anybody else, folks. And that is why you've got a British 1-2 and an Argentinian not too far behind who's got the ringside seat in the form of Fabrizio Belziti. We have, after this, just 3 tours to go here. The 2.433 mile circuit here at Brands Hatch GP for AMX 10. Race 3, Heat 2. Harrison pulls towards the outside. Chadwick squeezes him, coming down the Brabham Straight over the crest once again. Harrison goes high and wide, round the outside. Chadwick keeps it pinned. Whoa. Oh, a little bit of a touch between the... Belziti's got the run on Harrison. Up the Hellwood Hill, round towards the outside of turn 2 here at Druids. He's going to make the move. Is he going to try and get the undercut? Through into Graham Hell Bend. And Belziti gets through on Harrison by a whisker. Harrison side by side, door handle to door handle. This is bringing in Kulharvi. Belziti up through Surtees, back on Harrison, and runs wide. Harrison counterattacks, gets the cut back. Through he goes for second position. And now a flash of the lights to Will Chadwick as if to say, oi, don't forget about me. Kulharvi now right up the rear wing of his countryman from Argentina. This is absolutely brilliant. The amount of defending, the amount of attacking we have seen so far as Kulharvi now trying to really get basically have Fabrizio Belziti's number. It's Honda from Hyundai and Audi rounding out the top 4 at the moment, but keep your eyes on Victor Miranda, who's only 8/10 back from P4.
The action, incredible. And I think we all knew that it was going to be like this. I didn't know how much. Chadwick and Harrison, their battle, incredible. The Argentinians behind Belziti, Kulharvi, their battle is coming up here. You can see it's somewhat secondary right behind. And keep in mind, in the rearview mirror is also Ollie Steinbraten, who's continuing to, I guess, outplace his teammate Diego Pinto, is all the way down there in 9, and that's kind of a look at the standings, but we do have action further back in the field. It's just that there's been so much going up here in the front. Chadwick, Harrison, wheel to wheel, bumper to bumper, they are absolutely challenging each other nonstop. It doesn't get much better than this, and you can tell that Harrison, relentless, looking to come around the outside, but still can't find a way past Chadwick. So good on the defense, just blocking at every turn.
Yeah, that rear bumper on that Civic Type R's seen better days, folks, because Harrison has been biting at his heels like a little chihuahua. Through into Hawthorns they go once again on the penultimate tour out of 10. Here on what has been an absolutely cavalcade of consummate professionalism at the front end of the field. A little bit of a drift out wide there, coming out of Westfield by Will Chadwick, but he stretches the legs on the Honda Civic Type R, bumps over the curbs on the inside of Sheen. Now into the 90 left here at Sterling's. Adverse left-hand down camber. Now it's putting the pedal to the metal. On the run down clearways. Heading into the 9th and final corner here at Clark Curve. This time, the white flag comes out once again. The 10th and final lap of Heat 2 for Race 3 of AMX 10 gets going right now. 2.4 miles to go. Kieran Harrison looks to the outside again into Paddock Hill Bend. Around the outside of Will Chadwick. Chadwick, 2 wheels bunny hopping on the right-hand side of the Honda Civic through Paddock Hill Bend. Gets through, stays in the lead at the moment, Belziti. Kulharvi making this a 4-way scrap for the race lead. And there is Victor Miranda. He's 7/10 behind the Argentinian in 4th place, the number 27. But out of the Cooper Straight, what is going to be the final time? The run into Surtees once more. Chadwick defends. Harrison now's got to get the run. He's bump drafting. I think he even gave it a little bit of a touch coming out of Surtees. Down Pilgrim's Drop. Flash of the lights from Harrison in the number 93 Hyundai Elantra NTCR. Into Hawthorns once again. Chadwick defends like a master. Right there and then. Harrison has got Belziti right up his rear wing. Into Westfield. Down into the compression zone here at Dingle Dell. It's a 4-way scrap, but Harrison looking towards the outside. Gets cut off into Sheen Curve by Will Chadwick. Just a couple more corners to go. Into Sterling's. Belziti sticks his nose towards the inside of Harrison, but can't get through for second. It's going to be a run to the line. Chadwick's got to pin it to the wall on the right-hand side. But will Kieran Harrison get the overspeed? Into Clark Curve, the final time. 2/10 is the gap out of the final corner. It's now full throttle. 6th gear, maximum revs. Checkered flag out. Will Chadwick takes it by 0.131. Kieran Harrison, Fabrizio Belziti, Gaston Kulharvi, Victor Miranda at the line, covered by, this is your top 5, folks, 1.2 seconds. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, folks.
What an incredible way to finish this out. It's a brand new season. We have brand new competitors, and the field is better than ever. Such an incredible finish there. Absolute congratulations to Kieran Harrison, Chadwick, really just putting on a masterclass of TCR racing during our time here at Brands Hatch. And of course, to the rest of our competitors, really, I think, a lot to handle. This race is not easy, and you could tell that even some of the best were really struggling. Members of Team Redline, some getting taken out early, others middle of the pack, and just recognizing that it is incredibly difficult to achieve what these and it just goes to show just, I guess, how skilled and how talented these sim racers are. And so that is a look at our final standings for Heat 2.
Will Chadwick from Altus Esports, also an ambassador for Next Level Racing, joining us tonight. Really good to have him with us, and what a titanic battle between him and Kieran Harrison from SimRC, making it a British 1-2 on home soil. That puts a little bit of pride in my heart there, Reed, I'll be completely honest with you. But Fabrizio Belziti had the ringside seat, Kohlhabi was closing, and then Miranda was... I felt the Jaws music burning into my residual eardrums at the moment, because I think if you're shouting so loud, my eardrums are ringing right now. But the top 5 covered by 1.2 seconds. Ole Steinbraten, the highest of our Team Redline placed drivers in this second heat here for race 3 of AMX 10. Kaya Gaspar, Ben Faulkner, Diego Pinto, and Diego Villarreal running at the top 10. Lucas Dornella, Jehan An, Lawi Santi, Jackson Asenje, and Nico Godoy rounds out the top 15. They all pick up US dollars in their pocket. Fastest lap of the race, Gael Valero picks up $5, even though he finished 19th behind Fabio Zamplini, Felipe Spetrinev, and Facundo Rago. Noah Afani and Simon De Mori not making it to the end. Neither did Gianni Vecchio, Mauricio Lozano, Pedro de Oliveira. That's it for the racing action. What a way to end race day 3 on week 1 of AMX Global Season 3 here, Reed. Mamma mia is the word of the night.
Doesn't get much better than that. So cool to see. Like I said, just like the level of talent, it just gets better and better, really leveling up things here for Season 3 of AMX Global League. If you're new to this and you're just now watching, or this is your first time competing, then hope you know what you're getting yourself into. Absolute craziness, but it's a whole lot of fun. So I just want more. But unfortunately, that's the last race for the day. But we're doing this 3 times a week. Just 2 races, 3 times a week for a total of 6 races every week. And it's not like you have to make it to every single race. No. All you have to do is come out here, and as soon as you make over $100, we get that out to you. So you're getting paid on sort of a rolling scale, which makes it a lot more flexible than a lot of other leagues. Sometimes you have to check your schedule, request work off so that you can make it to the one big race of the season. Not so. You can actually come out here whenever you want, and gives you a great opportunity to kind of race when you can, get as much sim racing in as possible, which I know is probably what most of you guys are wanting. So really happy to see so many amazing competitors this season for AMX Season 3.
Well, I think, Reed, it's time for you to get your interviewing skills on for the first time this season, because I think we've got a couple of drivers waiting to be interviewed post Heat 2 here on AMX 10 Race 3. I'll leave it over to you, buddy.
Hey, thank you so much. We are going to get a chance to get a nice little interview in here. Looks like we have Diego Pinto joining us, and just want to go ahead and say hi, hello. Thanks for joining us, and tell us about your experience here driving TCRs on Brands Hatch, Diego.
Well, I think to start off the event, we picked the wrong car. The alley didn't seem as strong as the Hyundai and the Honda. But first race was quite nice. I managed to stay out of trouble. The second race, not so much. I went for a gap on the outside and ended up getting taken out, unfortunately. But I enjoyed the first race especially, and I'm looking forward for some more racing next week.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a different tournament than some of the big PESCs or Rennsport events out there. So it's got to feel a little bit more like maybe a community feel. But actually, just got a little bit curious, especially for people watching the AMX broadcast who might not know you specifically. How did you get your start in sim racing, and what does it feel like to come so far during your career?
I've always liked racing, so sim racing was a natural hobby for me, since I also liked video games since I was very young. So just once I got some good set of gear, wheel, pedals, I just got better and better, and I reached a point where I can drive professionally for Team Redline.
Really incredible to see you out here. There's a lot of different levels of skill for the drivers here in AMX, and maybe some drivers who are thinking about getting into sim racing, or they're just now starting out. What kind of advice would you tell yourself, or what kind of advice would you give to new sim racers who are just starting out?
Well, I guess just to have fun and not focus too much on a pace or competing. I think having fun is the most important part. And down the line, if you feel like you're competitive enough to challenge the fastest guys, go for it and take it more seriously.
So when you are going for it and taking it more seriously, what are your sim racing goals, and how close do you think you are to meeting those?
My main goal in iRacing is always to be world champion. I've achieved that goal, and now is to keep being competitive in everything I do and representing my team at the highest level, pretty much.
Yeah, I was going to say, once you reach that level of being world champion, there's not a lot higher that you can do. But it's obviously clear that you've been able to stay competitive, not just during your time here at AMX, but also as you continue to represent Team Redline incredibly effectively. I know that you have a very busy schedule, so we're going to head out of here pretty soon. But before you go, do you have any shout out to people watching? Any words for your fans?
I guess thanks for watching. I've been enjoying racing this. It's a new format, and hopefully we'll see you next week for some more racing.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and definitely hope to see you back here again very soon. Always a pleasure to have you and the rest of the guys join us for time here at AMX. So big thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thank you. See you.
From Diogo Pinto there, and really just a pleasure to have all of our combatants, our competitors, joining us here for the race. And I think that is going to do it for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit the mute there. But really, you can just see what the pipeline looks like for sim racing competitors everywhere. From the very beginning, you're just now starting out, to reaching the highest heights of sim racing competition, like guys like Diogo know what it's like there. So really, really impressive. And I think now time to welcome back our next hop in there. Looks like next we are going to have a wonderful opportunity to interview Kieran Harrison. Now, Kieran, first of all, welcome to the show and to AMX. I know it's a little bit of a different format than a lot of other races that you've been a part of, and maybe this is people's first time seeing you here on AMX. Maybe give a little bit of a self-introduction and tell us how you got into sim racing.
Thanks for having me, first of all. I got into it a while ago. I started on the F1 games in like 2013 or something, and I didn't take it too seriously at the time. And then maybe like 2017, 18, I decided to upgrade my rig and get a PC and iRacing. It just took off from there, really. Driven all kinds of things, but these touring cars are kind of what I seem to go well in, so I think this was going to be one of my better nights of the season.
Yeah, you have a lot of history running TCRs, even going so far as I think it was a 24 Hours Championship in TCR last year. Yeah. What is it about TCRs that really just fits your racing style?
I don't know. Maybe it's the front wheel drive. I don't know. It just, compared to a lot of other cars, I seem to have a more natural pace in these cars, especially the Elantra. It seems to be the one that I prefer the most. But I don't know. It's not the most popular car, so I guess I would trade it for being better in a GT3, for example. But yeah, you got to take what you can get, and I really like these cars.
Yeah, and honestly, there's a lot of cars to choose from, a lot of tracks, so it can be difficult to have such a wide variety of opportunities to race out there. So as you've gotten more and more competitive in sim racing, you've achieved a lot so far. So I'm just kind of wondering what you have coming up. What does your sim racing career look like right now?
Not got too much on at the moment. We've got the IMSA official series coming up soon. I think we're likely to be in GT3 for that, my team. We were in TCR last time and we won the title, but the TCR class is gone, so we'll have to have a change of machinery there. And then just this, really, I am one of the drivers for our GT4 entry in the 24-hour series this year, but I'm not sure which races I'm going to be running yet. But yeah, mostly just this series for now, and then those things when they pick up.
Well, we're definitely glad to have you here, and I always ask this the first time I get a chance to talk to people, but it's kind of great for some of the up-and-coming drivers to hear from people like yourself. If there's people out there that are just now starting out in sim racing, I'm just kind of curious how you got your start, especially ascending to teams like Team RC and getting more involved in sim racing competitively.
Yeah, I mean, to start out, you don't need, because obviously it can appear expensive if you're just getting into it for the first time, but you don't need to start with the best equipment. So I would say try to not view that as an obstacle. Just get a Logitech G27, for example. Loads of people get that as a starting wheel. It's really affordable. And just go from there. If you enjoy it, then obviously you can invest more money into it if you want. But yeah, just when you're getting into it, I guess, don't overcommit and make sure you try a lot of different cars just to see what you get on with. And I think Diogo said before, just try to have fun. Try not to focus too much on the competitive side of it. There'll always be people to race no matter what level you're at. So just work your way up from there.
Yeah, great response. Yeah, you don't need to spend $5,000 on your setup just to start out. You probably got to learn a few fundamentals first. So I just kind of wondering, because you do have some history racing professionally, sim racing professionally. Are there any highlights of your career so far, and do you have any more goals going forward?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Last year was like a golden year for me because I won the Hyundai Global League. And the prize for that was epic. We got like a VIP trip to WRC Spain, and then we also won the 24-hour series and the IMSA series as well in the TCR. So yeah, I want these TCR series to keep coming back so I can keep taking part. But yeah, absolute highlight was the Hyundai series last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, last year was a great year for you, and even though this year is almost over, there's still plenty of chances to get out there and have more success. I think our time here is over, but before we head out, do you have any words for all of your fans out there, anybody watching?
Yeah, just thanks for tuning in. I hope it wasn't too stressful, because what you normally find is it's more stressful for the viewer than it is for the driver, and I found it stressful tonight, so I have no idea what it was like for those watching. But yeah, just thanks for always tuning in to my family in particular that watch, and I know some of my friends watch as well.
Yeah, shout out to the boys, but really, really good to have you here, of course, representing not only your home country, but also your team and yourself incredibly well. So cool, and look forward to having you back here for more action. I'll see if we can get you back here at TCRs, but of course, there's a lot more happening. So thanks for joining us tonight, Kieran.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
All right, well, thank you very much. Just going to hit that mute button real fast, and now we're back. So, wow. So good to hear from some of the best sim racers you'll ever hear from and the best ones I'll ever talk to. Really incredible day of racing. Like Kieran said, it was a little stressful there at the end. How about that, Alex?
I'm wondering if we can give Kieran a little bit of a nudge, and can we have his teammate Corentin Guigne's return and reignite that epic rivalry with his countryman Gael Valero. We saw that plenty of times last year with Sim RC versus ART here on AMX Global Season 2. That really wraps up our coverage here for race day 3. That's 6 races in the books, folks. 66 to go. Don't forget, head to amxrace.com to find out if you can register for respective races. We're experiencing a real we're like a phoenix rising from the ashes. At some points last season we were seeing 15. Yeah, a renaissance. Sort of a Michelangelo terminology, if you will. But the good thing is, we are a top-tier premier iRacing sim racing league. You want to get involved? Head to amxrace.com. Big thank you, as always, to our partners and the teams that support us. Next Level Racing, BenQ, Upbit, and of course our parent company at AMX Global Automatics. Without them, this would not be possible. But more importantly, it wouldn't be possible without all the racers joining us for this season. As Reed said, we've had a real renaissance here in our sim racing league. So if you want to join the fun, up the ante, maybe get us to north of 30 car grids. And if we can get that in the next couple of weeks, you know what? We'll be singing and dancing all the way to the bank. Hyperbole speaking right there. But of course, don't forget to check us out on all the socials. If you are watching on Twitch, you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow our page on Twitch. Also, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter. You can also check out our Discord. The link is on the AMX.com website. And of course, we're also on TikTok. But stay tuned, because Wednesday, we've got a NASCAR double bill on Wednesday, the 27th of September. US International Speedway with the Chevy Silverado from 2008. And then we got the next gen NASCAR Cup cars from 2022 running at Indianapolis Motor Speedway at the Open Wheel Oval at the Brickyard. So folks, stay tuned. Keep an eye on our social medias. On behalf of myself, Alex, Reed, and the entire team at AMX Global, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you for race week number 2 next Wednesday. Goodbye.